This is Tailgate Week, presented by Kingsford Charcoal.
Coming up on ESPNU, Bethune Cookman coach Alvin Wyatt brings his bag of tricks to town. But the Norfolk State men are healthy and ready for a battle. It's the Spartans taking on the Wildcats next. Welcome to College Football Primetime on ESPNU, presented by Citi. We're at Dick Price Stadium on the campus of Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia, as the Wildcats of Bethune Cookman University travel north to take on the Spartans of Norfolk State. Hello, everyone. Charlie Neal, along with my partner Eddie Robinson, the former Tennessee Titan linebacker, and we'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Norfolk, Virginia. And Eddie, you're looking at two teams who are looking for their first win in conference play. Neither one can afford to go 0-2 in this very highly competitive MEAC conference.
Yeah, you're right, Charlie. Both of these teams have to come into this game with a sense of urgency. You already have one loss within the MEAC. A second loss today will definitely hamper your chances of winning a 2009 MEAC title, so they have to play with a very sense of we got to win the game this time.
No question, and when you look at this Bethune team, here's a team that's starting 0-2, the first time that's happened to them since 1993. What are they going to have to do to get back on track?
I think Coach Wyatt and that whole Bethune-Cookman offense, they want to duplicate what they did last year against Norfolk State. 300 yards rushing, they only had 3 pass attempts. If they can control the clock and control that running game in the line of scrimmage with that big option attack, I think they'll have a lot of success today.
Well, Norfolk State, Bethune-Cookman, and they're coming up next. And our primetime college football coverage from the MEAC in Norfolk, Virginia. Welcome back to College Football Primetime. We're at Dick Price Stadium in Norfolk, Virginia, for this MEAC matchup. Bethune-Cookman against the Norfolk State Spartans. And, of course, Coach Pete Adrian is the head coach of the Spartans of Norfolk State. Let's kind of jump in on some of his pregame talk to his Spartan team in the locker room.
All right, man, it's time to play football. We worked hard. We know where it's at. We know exactly where we're standing. Our backs are against the wall. We know that. We've talked about that all week. We're here at home. We got everything riding on this. Okay, and it's just like the Spartans. 300 Spartans, when they were in that pass, they had to fight. We got 85 Spartans sitting in here. Let's go take the fight to them. Let's go play 60 minutes. Let's go be relentless. Let's go win this football game.
Pete Adrian, a former assistant coach at Bethune, to that man, Alvin Wyatt, who's in his 13th year as the head coach at Bethune Cookman University, and unaccustomed to being in this position right now early on in the year.
I mean, the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, they know how to win. They've been doing extremely well under Coach Wyatt. And like you said, I think both teams have their back against the wall, and they have to come out and have a very good performance today.
And, of course, Pete Adrian, who was the defensive coordinator for Alvin Wyatt for many years down in Daytona Beach, is now in his 5th year as the head coach of the Spartans of Norfolk State. And you look at this team that started the season, Eddie, with a win over Virginia State, lost their last 2 ball games, but they have a quarterback they feel very confident about in Dennis Brown.
Yeah, Dennis Brown can really get it done, and they really expect him to make some big plays, not only in the passing game, but also some design runs. They want him to run the football a lot today also.
So what do you look for overall in this contest?
Well, I think you have to start off with Bethune-Cookman. I mean, they want to try to come in here and control the football game with that running game, win the time of possession, and eliminate the turnovers.
It'll be the 20th time that these two teams have met. 13 wins have gone in favor of the Wildcats at Bethune-Cookman University. Norfolk State has won 6 of those contests. Last year was a win by down in Daytona by Bethune-Cookman, but the last time Bethune was in this stadium, Dick Price Stadium, they came out on the losing end to the Spartans of Norfolk State. And Norfolk State will get the ball to start this contest. They're wearing the home dark jerseys, the green and gold, and Bethune-Cookman in their visiting white uniforms. Corey Kowalski, number 16, he's the man that's going to kick it off. A freshman out of Rockledge, Florida, will be kicking off for the Wildcats at Bethune-Cookman University.
You know, we saw that pregame speech by Coach Adrian. I like the reference to the movie with the 300 Spartans. He said we only have 85 Spartans today. And you know, one thing he really pointed out that their back is really against the wall. They want to win the MEAC title this year. They want to compete. And to start off 0-2 in MEAC play would be a very, very big hindrance to that goal.
There you see Pete Adrian. He's the 15th coach at the school. He was a defensive coordinator at Bethune for 7 years, a graduate of West Virginia. 22 wins, 26 losses for him coming in. And this one about to get underway. And it's Flukerberry on the return for the Spartans of Norfolk State. And down the sideline and finally bounced out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. And that's where the Spartans will go to work on a 26-yard return for Dwight Flukerberry, sophomore out of Miami, Florida. He was averaging just about 23 yards per kickoff return. As you look at Dennis Brown bringing his team on the field. He's a redshirt senior out of Miami, transferred from the University of Connecticut, where he was there for 3 years. In fact, started 2 games for UConn and the Huskies back in 2005 as a freshman. Working on first down and 10. The ball spotted just inside the 35 from the shotgun. Pass out in the flat. He has it complete to Branch coming out of the backfield, and Branch is out across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Let's look at the impact players, Eddie.
Hey, take a look at D'Angelo Branch. He leads the team in rushing. He can have a very big, productive day. Chris Bell transferred from Penn State. They want him to be a big-time receiver, making plays down the field. And my favorite, Terrell Whitehead, the All-American free safety. He leads the team in tackles and will have to run the lane and make a lot of defensive stops today against that option attack with Bethune-Cookman.
An 8-yard gain on that first play, and here again is Branch straight up the gut, and he has the first down across the 45 to the 46-yard line. So a pass play, a running play, they move the chains, and it's 1st and 10 for the Spartans.
I tell you what, converting on 3rd down is going to be real important for Norfolk State, because when Bethune-Cookman gets the football, they really want to eat up the time of possession. So every possession that Norfolk State has, they want to make it count.
As you look at the top of your screen, you see the starting lineups. Russell DeLoff is the starting center. Bernard West, the right guard. And the rest of the starting offense for Spartans of Norfolk State. 1st and 10. Brown from the gun. And this one is complete to Bell. And Bell still on his feet. First down across midfield. And into Bethune territory down to the 40-yard line goes Chris Bell, the transfer out of Penn State.
Chris Bell, good player, comes into this game with 2 touchdown catches, and this kid can play. He's right out of Granby High School in this Norfolk, Virginia area, and you can see his run after catch. He can be a very productive guy after he touches the football.
And his first career touchdown against A&T, that was a 16-yarder. He has a pair of touchdowns, as you said, 10 catches coming into today's game, and he picks up a first down here. The ball right at the 40 of Bethune. Long pass, they're going for Bell, and he gets the great catch even after it looks like he was interfered with down at the 2-yard line. He still came up with the catch. They'll mark it at the 3.
Yeah, Chris Bell, I mean, that was a great throw by Dennis Brown, but Chris Bell did most of the work on this play. Looked like he got away with a little push-off at the end. Just lay it up and let your guy, if you're going to play one-on-one coverage, let your guy make a play, and that's exactly what he did. You had good coverage, but number 19, Chris Bell, made the play.
Antoine Cox was the man who beat the senior out of Miami, Florida's Killian High, transfer from South Florida. And now some confusion on the part of the offense. They may have to use a timeout here. That is Norfolk State. They get down to the goal line, and now they're surprised and don't know what to do.
I tell you what, nobody expected Chris Bell to make that big catch. That's what it looked like.
That was a 38-yard reception for Chris Bell. That was his longest of the season. The previous long was 23 yards. So it's a 1st and goal for the Spartans of Norfolk State. They've taken this opening kickoff from their own 34-yard line and driven all the way down to the 4. Or make it the 3-yard line of Bethune, and they're knocking on the door.
I'll tell you what, when you can start off making big plays in the passing game by Dennis Brown, keep in mind this guy's the 2nd leading rusher on his football team behind D'Angelo Branch. So he's really a dual threat. So when you can open up that running game by attacking early with that passing game, it's really going to set things up nice for this Norfolk State offense.
So let's see what they've come up with. Sharon Childress, the tight end on the right side. Branch trying to get into the end zone. Looks like he just about got back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it because of collapsing wall. Smiley, one of the men there, number 1 defensively for Bethune Cookman. Josh Smiley is the middle linebacker, junior out of Milton, Florida. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 3. The pass into the corner, and this is too much. This time P.J. Hayden, the intended receiver, on a little fade covered by Antonio Cox, number 3 over there.
And that's an interesting call. I mean, they tried to go with the jump ball to number 7, P.J. Hayden, who goes at 5'11", 170 pounds. Now, yesterday in practice, we saw them working that same play, but they were using Chris Bell, who's a much bigger receiver, 6'3" and 210. So you have to wonder maybe they didn't get the right matchup in that ball game, into the ball game, and run that play with a bigger guy at the receiver position.
Hayden this time comes to the bottom of your screen. Bell goes to the top. On 3rd and goal. Brown looks, has a man there, and it's a touchdown. Touchdown, great catch, and that is P.J. Hayden coming up with the touchdown reception. But there's a penalty marker down. Let's see what it's all about. Maybe against Bethune. Our referee today, Fleming Williams and his crew. Long discussion. Either a touchdown or it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, the way they're marking the football.
There was no touchdown on the play. The ball is on the 1-yard line. We had a hole on the defense. Half the distance, replay, 3rd down.
Is it a replay?
Well, Charlie, I'm going to let you explain this one to me, because if there's a hold on the defense, that looked like a catch, so it seems like Norfolk State would have declined the penalty and took the touchdown. So maybe,
but they said it was no touchdown. They said he was down at the 1.
Yeah, but the referee signaled a touchdown.
I know,
yeah.
and then I think he changed his mind.
Okay.
That's what happened. But defensive holding, is that automatic 1st down?
Against an eligible receiver. This is an automatic 1st down.
That's what I thought.
Well, he heard you asking the question, Charlie. You must have a pipeline straight to the referee.
I thought it was. He said 3rd down. I thought it was automatic 1st down, defensive holding. So it's 1st and goal from the 1.5-foot line now. And here's Branch into the end zone. They signal touchdown this time. So D'Angelo Branch breaks the goal line. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And the Spartans take a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, just an inside handoff. You can see the movement by the offensive line. And that's an easy run for D'Angelo Branch, a guy that's coming off of a 1,000-yard rushing season last year.
And a big 38-yard pass reception helped that touchdown drive as Justin Castellat is on for the point after, and he misses one. He had one blocked earlier this year, and then he loses this one. So it's 6-0 instead of 7-0. A very reliable Castellat preseason all-conference player, but the Spartans are up 6-0.
When it
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by Citi. Citi never sleeps. The USS Wisconsin, we're in Norfolk, Virginia, home of the United States Navy, and there you see Mr. Branch with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. A young man out of Norfolk's Maury High. That is his 16th rushing touchdown of his career.
Yeah, he was off to a very great year last year. Had over 1,000 yards rushing and is getting things going on the ground. The leading rusher for Norfolk State this year. This guy can have a very big game if you're not careful.
Bethune Cookman on the return. That's Arkey Smith, number 22, bringing it back, and not bad field position for the Wildcats of Bethune. A 15-yard return, and they'll get the ball in about the 31-yard line. Their first possession of the day, trailing 6-0. Norfolk State took the opening drive and drove all the way down the field. A drive that covered 66 yards, 7 plays, 2 minutes and 39 seconds off the clock.
And Bethune Cookman, they're going to start off with the wide bone attack and option offense, a lot of different variations of what they can do with the football.
Matthew Johnson starting at quarterback today, kind of surprised. And what a hit put on by Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson, boy, he was sitting there waiting for the receiver. Let's look at the impact players for Bethune.
Well, Brian Sumler, he's the B-back in this offense. He had 3 touchdowns in the last meeting against Bethune-Cookman. Ryan Lewis, he leads the team and the conference with 2 interceptions. And Dexter Jackson, this is a guy who can be a very big impact player, number 55, right in the middle at the defensive tackle position.
Philip Kirkland a little shaken up on the play right there. Senior out of Quincy, Florida. And let's look at this hit by Dustin Johnson. Brian Sumler. Eddie, you glad you're up here now?
Hey, I tell you what, they say you're either the bug or the windshield. And Dustin Johnson was definitely the windshield on that one, and he won that battle. Hopefully Philip Kirkland will be okay. But I tell you, if I'm sitting in that cover 2 position as a cornerback, that's exactly what the coach tells you to do. Just sit in the flat. If anybody comes out there, you destroy him.
Alvin Wyatt has come on the field and check on Kirkland, the receiver. So he's going out. They're pretty thin in that department, and they haven't done a good job this year actually of throwing the football. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they replace him as far as that receiver spot is concerned. But we go back to your quarterback. Maurice Francois had been the starter. They started Matthew Johnson today. You surprised?
Well, not really surprised, because I think both guys are going to play. I mean, Matthew Johnson is a guy that can do a little bit more in the passing game, but they're going to play both quarterbacks. So I think maybe they just feel like Matthew Johnson will have a better start, but I think undoubtedly we'll see Maurice Francois at some time in this football game.
So again, of course, you know they like to run the Wyatt bone. Johnson going back to throw, throws it high, and it's caught on the far side. And a great catch by Javon Reams, who had to go high to catch that, but he's still going to be about 2 yards shy of a first down, maybe 3.
See Matthew Johnson dropping back to pass. They're going to try to have some quick rhythm passes. The ball's a little high, but the receiver does a great job of going up and making the catch for Bethune-Cookman. But these are the type of things we're going to see out of the passing game when Bethune-Cookman pass. 3-step drop, get the ball out of the quarterback hand. He only has to make 1 read.
In case you're wondering, there's 2 players wearing number 3. Yes, there are. Javon Reams and Mr. Cox. Cox on defense and Reams on offense. And here's a keeper, and nothing doing as they stuff that. The defense of the green and gold would not allow Andros Bell, the junior from Palm Bay, Florida, to get any necessary yardage to bring up a 4th down situation. Lamont Thorpe was the first man to hit him there.
Yeah, the outside linebacker. He comes from an outside spot, and he realized that the B-back has the football. And I tell you what, they stood him up and also knocked him back. And those are the type of plays that Bethune-Cookman really have to convert. There's 3rd and 3 field position plays. They need those first downs.
Luca Berry back to receive this punt. Takes a bounce. He picks it up and has a little wall. Gets a block and is across the 30 out to the 36-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 37. So Norfolk State will get the football, their second possession of the day, leading 6-0 after a 59-yard punt, a 27-yard return.
Inventors invent help can.
Kirkland still being attended to on the sideline. 6-0 our score here, And it's Norfolk State on top. Welcome back to ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by City as part of Kingsford Charcoal Tailgate Week. The last drive by Norfolk State. Here's a big pass down to Bell, 38 yards. That took him down into the red zone. And then it was Branch into the end zone for 6. And that's the scoring so far in the ball game, Eddie.
I'll tell you what, if they can get some big things going with that passing game from Dennis Brown, D'Angelo Branch is definitely going to put his input on his football game when he starts rushing the ball. Bethune Cookman has to take away something defensively.
From the shotgun, they work again on 1st down and 10 from their own 37. Branch with the ball in his hands, but he's brought down immediately by the middle linebacker, Josh Smiley. Smiley on the stop. Number 1. Josh Smiley last year, 56 tackles, 19 solo, a sack, and 3 for loss. And don't forget to log on to Facebook today. Search ESPNU and become a fan. Post your best tailgating photos and comments, and we may even use them on Inside the Polls Monday at 6 p.m. on ESPNU HD. 2nd down and 9 after a gain of 1. This time Brown goes under center, empty backfield. Branch in motion. Long pass. Bell again has the ball, and Bell is going to the house. Touchdown, Norfolk State. 62 yards.
Tell you what, this is the Dennis Brown, Chris Bell show starting off early. That was a great job of having the motion coming to the backfield, making it look like you had a possibility to pass, no middle safety. You can tell the running back is coming in motion. They just run a post play. The safety sucks up on the dig, and it's one-on-one coverage. And number 4, Antoine Cox for Bethune-Cookman just couldn't make the play, but great touchdown reception by Chris Bell.
This PAT is good, and it's now 13-0. Norfolk State over Bethune, and we're in the first quarter. Let's look at it once again. 9:27 to go. Eddie.
But yeah, you had D'Angelo Branch coming in motion, but now you have the post play, and you see there's just no one there. And you give Chris Bell a lot of credit. This guy is 6'3", 210 pounds. He catches the ball with his hands. One-on-one coverage by Antoine Cox with no help from a safety, and he was able to beat him in man coverage. And he's had, I'll tell you what, he's off to a great start so far, Charlie.
He certainly is off to a great start. Here's a young man that played and started his college career at Penn State. Played for them 2 years, caught 12 passes in the 2 years he was there for 209 yards. But what a show of specimen, and what a show he's put on here this afternoon.
Well, you know, Pete Adrian, he brings in a couple of transfers. Unlike some FCS schools who bring in a plethora of transfers, he gets a couple here and there. Of course, Dennis Brown is a transfer, Chris Bell also. But he wins with a lot of red shirts. But the guys that he bring in, he tries to bring in impact players, and that's what you have out of Chris Bell. This guy is an impact player, a game changer, and you already have seen twice in the first quarter where he's made 2 big plays.
And he has 3 career touchdowns now here at Norfolk State. Passed a lot, picking off. And the return out to the 30-yard line by Keith. Josh Anderson there on the stop defensively. 1st down and 10 for Bethune. Don't forget Sunday afternoon, ESPNU kicks off women's college soccer action. That's when the Tigers of Auburn take on the Rebels of Ole Miss. It's women's college soccer on ESPNU Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Second possession for Bethune. They went 3 and out on their first possession. New quarterback in there, Sovereign. Correction, Francois. I keep talking about Sovereign McKinson from a year ago. I remember him because Francois changed his number. He wore number 14 last year. Now he's wearing number 7. But there to stop him defensively, Lamont Thorpe. As you look at Maurice Francois, who's starting the 2nd series today after Matthew Johnson started the game.
Now, he's a better runner out of the 2 quarterbacks, and he can run that option just a little bit better than Matthew Johnson. And we expected both guys to play, and I think they'll go back and forth with both quarterbacks.
So Maurice Francois is in there right now on the option. He pitches back on the end around, coming to the near side. Read pretty good by the Spartans of Norfolk State, and nowhere to run for Javon Reams, who was brought down for a loss. And Jamie Short, number 8, was the first man to get there.
I tell you, Norfolk State, they're coming here ready to play on defense. They did a good job with the short passing plays. Now you want to come with an option reverse, and you have the defensive end staying at home. And once he gets everyone to turn the play back inside, you have a lot of success. Here at Norfolk State, you see big number 90, Lamont Thorpe turning everything back in, and then the rest of the Spartans rally. A lot of hats on the football, and that's what you want to have when you're playing against an option team. Play assignment football, and when we make them pitch it, everybody rally and make the play.
So it's 3rd and long. 3rd and long, and now Bethune is going to call a timeout. Let's see what they can come up with on this 3rd and long situation. So far this season, they have not done a very good job of converting 3rd down situations.
Well, Pete Adrian, when you ask him the key to stopping Bethune Cookman's offense, he said you win on 1st and 2nd down. You get them into 3rd and long situations, and their offense really isn't built for this type of down and distance situation.
And what makes it even more interesting is, of course, you know, Bethune, Pete Adrian, I should say, spent 7 years as a defensive coordinator for Bethune, so he went against this offense almost every day, except for against planning for the other teams they were going to play. Don't forget, Sunday afternoon, ESPN serves Sets and Spikes coverage of women's college volleyball. The Ole Miss Rebels take on the Tennessee Lady Vols. Don't forget, that's coming your way. And right now, we're in Norfolk, Virginia for this MEAC contest. Along with Eddie Robinson Jr., I'm Charlie Neal, along with the rest of our ESPNU primetime crew. Glad you could join us as you look at Pete Adrian on the sideline. His team up 13-0 early on in this contest.
You know, we talked to Pete Adrian about preparing for this Bethune-Cookman offense, and one thing he said is you can't simulate the speed of the option in practice. So he was a little bit concerned about how his guys would start off the football game, but they're starting off pretty good defensively.
What he did was work against them without using the ball, so people could stay with their assignments. And now we got a penalty flag against Bethune.
First down.
And moved it back 5 more yards.
If you're Bethune-Cookman in this situation, or you already have a 3rd and forever, you're not a passing team. I don't think no team is equipped to convert a play in this situation. You either take a shot deep or you just run the football and concede it and punt.
3rd and a lot of real estate ahead of them right now. This time Johnson is back there, the arm thrower, and this one is going to be incomplete. It's going to be incomplete. Even if he'd have caught it, it would have been short of a 1st down. Terrell Whitehead was there on the defensive side. The ball intended for Allie Green for Bethune.
Like you said, you just give a little quick play action, and I like the call because you run a guy up the sideline, you try to get one-on-one coverage, and maybe your receiver can make a big play or they get a penalty defensively. But this Norfolk State defense is very solid, and of course Terrell Whitehead is probably their best secondary player, so you picked on one of their better guys in that situation.
Luca Berry back to receive the punt by Kowalski. They're going to let it bounce. And it's going to die just inside the 35 at about the 34-yard line. So Norfolk State leading 13-0. They'll get the ball for the 3rd time today when we come back to Norfolk.
You don't see all the 5,000 qualities.
Welcome back to Dick Price Stadium on the campus of Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia for this MEAC contest. The Spartans of Norfolk State leading Bethune-Cookman 13-0. And this is the second, making the 3rd possession. And talking about balance for Norfolk State, Eddie, the 2 drives, 5 passes, 4 runs, and 13 points. And here's a running play straight up the gut, a couple of yards for Branch. Down inside or outside the 35 to about the 36. Eric Williams, number 45 there defensively for Bethune.
And that's one of the design running plays for quarterback Dennis Brown. And that's the big difference between Dennis Brown a year ago and now. I mean, he can do all the big things in the passing game, but he's also getting some chances to actually run the football with some design running plays. And he's been very effective. He's the 2nd leading rusher on this Norfolk football team.
And he was a year ago. He did a pretty good job behind Branch there. Branch beside of it. Now he throws out the flat quickly to Bell, Curtis Bell. Burrow trying to make a move, still on his feet, breaks tackles, and he's still on his feet. And he's across midfield and down to the 40-yard line. Boy, I'll tell you, you're talking about determination, second effort. If it hadn't been for Reggie Sandilands, number 11, it might have been 6 more.
And I tell you, the big guy, number 19, Chris Bell, he turned from wide receiver to fullback as he just started running through this Bethune Cookman defense. This is just a great play, kind of an extension of the running game. You get the ball out there, you get some one-on-one blocks, and then you let your big guy, your receiver, Chris Bell, number 19, look how he makes people miss and just is determined to not get tackled. And I tell you what, if not for that last play, that tackle by Reggie Sandilands, he's off to the races for his second touchdown of the day.
1st and 10 now. The ball resting at about the 42-yard line of Bethune. Brown throws. Here's Bell again. They let him go one-on-one with the defense out there and to say, hey, you did it before, let's do it again. Antoine Cox was there, number 4, to make the stop defensively for Bethune. He had some help from his friends, though. He said, I'm not going to do this all by myself.
Well, those quick passes are just like a running play because it's a high percentage pass. You figure that the receiver's going to catch it. Then you get him with a one-on-one play with a running back on, with a defensive back on an edge. And if he can make that guy miss, you can have a 2-yard gain turn into a 10-yard gain before the rest of the defense can come and help.
This time Hayden comes to the bottom of the screen. They're looking to change the football or measure or what? I'm not sure. They want to measure, see if it's a first down. So it's a very good possibility. You're talking about this Norfolk State team. They're off next week. And then they'll be home against South Carolina State and then Hampton before traveling to Florida A&M. Team is playing very well, and they've got this kid Leroy Van who's made every highlight reel on SportsCenter for the last couple weeks, right?
And that's first down on the play with the measurement, but that's a tough 3-game stretch. I mean, of course you have your hands for here with Bethune Cookman, but those 3 teams, South Carolina State, Hampton, and FAMU, to play those 3 teams in a row, if you can come out of those and win 2 or possibly win 3, man, you're looking good in this MEAC race. But Van he's a phenomenal athlete. Him and Pulley down there for FAMU, both of those guys are making some things happen in the conference and getting national attention from doing it.
He was on game day today. They were talking about, you know, people who've run back prime time, Deion Sanders, and of course Leroy Van, both coming out of Florida, Tallahassee. Here's Branch leaning forward on a first down running play, maybe a yard down to the 31-yard line. Now let's look at Curtis Bell, the last 2 possessions. Chris Bell, I should say, the last 2 possessions in this ball game. 5 receptions, 144 yards. That's a 28.8-yard average and a touchdown. Of course, one of them was 62 yards.
And for most receivers, you can take the pads off and you're done. That's a great day. But we still have 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, so he can put up some big numbers if they continue to pass the ball to him the rest of this football game.
2nd down, 9. This time, it's the tight end, Childress, and Childress will be stopped at about the 35-yard line by Sandilands, make the 25-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards, a couple of yards shy of a first down. We'll have to get to the 23 to get the first down.
And Dennis Brown is going through his whole repertoire of passes. Of course, we saw the deep balls going to Chris Bell. Now you see the quick 5-yard out throw, and he's very accurate with that. I mean, Dennis Brown is a very accomplished quarterback. You add in his ability to run, and this guy is very hard to stop.
This time Bell goes to the top of your screen. Quick pass is too high. Too high. That was a 3rd down play. And Rashard Albert was there defending. So that'll bring up a 4th down situation.
I think they're going to try the long field goal with Castellot.
Well, that's not, yeah, that is Castellot, and it's E-step holding. This will be a 41, make it a 42-yard field goal attempt. The kick has the distance, but I don't think it's any good. It's off to the left. He missed it off to the left. The 42-yard field goal attempt for Castellot, his longest was a 47-yarder of his career. And so far this year, that's only the 2nd field goal he's attempted. And he's 0 for 2 in field goals this year.
Well, it really sets up Bethune-Cookman's offense with some pretty good field position, so we'll see if they can get things going running the football. They've had a couple passes, haven't done much today, 2 punts. Now they have to get a couple first downs and settle down and play ball.
Francois in at quarterback now. He drops the ball on the ground, and he's tackled immediately. He had trouble getting the handle on the snap from center to Lauder, and it was Joey Christine who was right there for the Spartans of Norfolk State, number 59. There he is. Let's look at how Norfolk State's defense has been doing tonight so far.
Well, so far they're pitching the shutout. And you want to run the football with your B-back up in there, we're going to stuff you and make plays. You want to go out wide, we're going to deliver some big hits on the corner, and then we're going to sack your quarterback. We'll tackle your quarterback for a loss before he even gets started. So far, 2 punts by Bethune-Cookman. They haven't been able to get anything going offensively.
Now here's an option to the left side for Francois, and there's a host of green and gold. Behold, Corin Hammond leading the pack.
They're doing a good job of just playing good disciplined football. I mean, there's really no option for the quarterback to do it. But when you're playing an option team, you have to get penetration. You get penetration, you saw the quarterback come and he had to go just a little bit deeper. Francois can never get into his reads to make a good play, and that always goes good for the defense when the guy is indecisive offensively.
Still looking for their first down of the ball game. This is their 3rd possession. It's been 2 3-and-outs for Bethune so far today. Let's see if they can convert here.
Another 3rd and long situation, something that they don't like to be in.
3rd and about 18. Now the quarterback looking to pass, and he is losing even more yards back there. This time it's Alphonse, Mike Alphonse, number 5, there to defend. There he is.
Yeah, it all starts on 1st down. You win on 1st and 2nd down. You get an option team in a 3rd and long situation. Francois looking downfield, can't see anyone, and then the pass rush, they just bottle them up. They're trying to roll them out so they can give them some extra time. Hey, you seal off the edge and you let your inside rushers come, and your linebacker number 5, Mike Alphonse, finishes it off with a sack.
Kowalski kicking. Their own 31. They stopped the first drive at their own 37, the second from their own 17, and here's a return possible for Norfolk State. And this is P.J. Hayden, and Hayden with a flag down at the 30-yard line of Bethune. You see what the flag is all about as Jean Fenor made the stop defensively, a 35-yard punt for Kowalski, 15-yard return.
On the return, got a block in the back, receiving team, number 26, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
Ricardo Volson, the defensive back, guilty of the infraction, and they'll move the ball back a little bit, but still good position for the Spartans of Norfolk State. And don't forget Sunday afternoon, ESPNU serves, sets, and spikes coverage of women's college volleyball as the Ole Miss Rebels take on the Lady Vols of Tennessee. It's women's college volleyball on ESPNU Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And for more information, log on to ESPNU.com. So from their 44-yard line of Bethune, this is where Norfolk State will go to work. 1st and 10. Brown has had a pretty good day so far. Now he's going to take off and run with it, and goes out of bounds in front of his own bench. Run out of bounds by Ryan Lewis, number 15, but still gains about 5 yards on the play.
If you're Bethune-Cookman, you're going to have to come up with something defensively. Create a turnover, send some pressure. Norfolk State is coming with a lot of no guys in the backfield, so they have 4 and 5 receivers out, and you can't just let Dennis Brown sit there and get comfortable. Of course, he's going up top with the big plays to Chris Bell, so you may have to give some extra attention to number 19, Chris Bell.
2nd and 5. This time empty backfield again from the shotgun for Brown. And here's the pass to Flukaberry, a converted defensive back who picks up a 1st down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line before Antoine Cox was there to make the stop.
You know, he's also a punt and kick returner. So we asked Coach Adrian, well, why did you move this guy to offense? It's because of moves like this. He's just making too many good moves running the football, and say he's a pretty good defensive back.
Plus he can catch.
Yeah, they can't tackle this guy, so we got to move him over to offense. And you don't see guys moving from defense to offense too often. It's usually a guy that's a wide receiver who can't catch, then they move him to defense. So that's interesting that they move him back to offense.
This time Branch lines up as a single back behind the quarterback. And Branch has the ball through the gut and down to the 20-yard line goes Branch, a 7-yard gain before number 11 Reggie Sandilands was there to stop him defensively for Bethune. So again, the Spartans on the move.
Yeah, Spartans are in total control of this football game. Of course, they wanted to get off to a good start. One thing Coach Adrian said, when you're playing an option team like Bethune-Cookman, if you can get up 7, 14, 21 points, then you force them to turn into more of a passing team, something that they really don't like to do. And so far, the plan is working great because they're up 13-0 in the first quarter.
Second down. Here's the quarterback on the keeper, but he did not get away from number 57, Jeremiah Walls, who was there to stop Dennis Brown before he could get ahead of steam going. Maybe a yard, and that's it.
Yeah, I tell you, you have some of these design quarterback runs. It's an inside veer read, but hey, sometimes you have to hand that thing off to the quarterback and let the running back take those shots.
So that's probably going to end the first quarter here in Dick Price Stadium in Norfolk, Virginia. This MEAC matchup, both looking for their first conference win. And it's a 13-0 lead in favor of the Spartans of Norfolk State. And we'll be back in a moment.
Join Boomer, TJ, and the gang for all your NFL analysis and insight.
Hey, Vincent!
Go State!
Hey, Ham, why did that guy call you Vincent?
Because that's my real name, Bergwood.
It is? How do you know that?
He's my Allstate agent.
Oh, he insures your car.
And my boat.
You got a boat?
Ah, my wife is a big-time skier.
You're married?
Allstate agents know who you really are and can help you save money by combining your car insurance with home, boat, and more. Are you in good hands?
Where'd you meet your wife?
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by Kingsford Charcoal, proud sponsor of Kingsford Charcoal Tailgate Week. As we start the second quarter here in Norfolk, Virginia, the 69th edition of what they call the Fish Bowl, with the Shriners get together and do their thing. It's third down facing the Spartans of Norfolk State, third and about 3. Dennis Brown back to pass, has it complete and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver on the far sideline. That was Curtis Bell. Antoine Cox knocked it loose. That'll bring on a fourth down. And again, we'll bring on Justin Castellat, who missed a 42-yarder the last time the Spartans had the ball. This one will be a little closer. This will be about a 37-yard field goal attempt. Let's see if he can convert. He's 0 of 2 so far this season.
Well, he had the leg on the last kick. His direction was just a little off.
It has the distance again, and this one is good. 37-yard field goal. And so now the Spartans add to their total, and they lead it by a score of 16-0. So pretty interesting chain of events. When you look at this Bethune-Cookman team, Eddie, here's a team that started the season losing to Shaw University 20-6. They turned the ball over 7 times in that particular game, and then they lost to South Carolina State 24-3. And they gave up an 86-yard kickoff return at the end of the third quarter to fall behind 21-3, and they threw interceptions, three interceptions in that game and lost a fumble. So turnovers have been a problem for them early.
Yeah, turnovers were real big. Like you said, 7 turnovers in the first ball game, and also turnovers against South Carolina State. But hey, in this game, this is the storyline for the most part. Bethune-Cookman, they have to have that option, attack running smoothly. They had 300 rushing yards last year in 08 against Norfolk State. Right now, I think they're at minus 20 yards. And for Norfolk State, the quarterback play. What can Brown do for you? He's the key, and he's been playing big today with the passes down the field to Chris Bell and the Spartan secondary. They've done well. They haven't had to stop the run against Bethune-Cookman because they haven't had any positive running yards. But that secondary will have to make tackles when they start running the football with that option attack.
And here's a return of the kickoff for Bethune, and Not much running room there. Out to the 22-yard line. Ricardo Volson was there defensively for the Spartans of Norfolk State as the return by Courtney Keith, the freshman out of Eustis, Florida. Didn't gain him a whole lot of yards. Minus 19 Bethune Cookman total yards so far. Their first drive, they got 6 yards. They got a minus 13 on their second drive, a minus 14 on their third. This is their 4th drive of the day.
And they have to come out and have a good, productive first down play. They have to have positive yards. The last 3 drives, first down has either been a no-gainer or a negative situation. They can't overcome a 3rd and long situation.
They have not picked up a 3rd down today. Now back to pass. And this one is caught. Great catch inside by Javon Reams. And Marcellus Jackson there defending. A good high catch. And that's the second time Reams has had to go up high to make one.
Yeah, Matthew Johnson, man, he's throwing the ball a little bit high, but the receivers are going up and making a play. And that's what you need. Now they're in a 2nd and 3 or 4 situation, something that they convert. And from a defensive standpoint, the whole playbook is open for the offense, so you have to be prepared for more.
So each series we've seen a different quarterback for Bethune. This time into the belly, play action. And this one is caught for first down. So the first down of the ball game is gained by the Wildcats at Bethune Cookman. And on the reception, Ali Green stopped by Marcellus Jackson once again, number 55.
And this is somewhat of a surprise that they're electing to come out throwing the football. In that game last year against Norfolk State, 300 yards rushing, and they only had 3 pass attempts, and they completed 1. So already they're doing better in the passing game, but eventually they're going to come back to that wide bone, wishbone attack.
1st and 10 now. Down 16-0. Bethune. Play action again. This one picked off. Intercepted. They read that one very well, and it was Dante Barnes who came up with the interception. The redshirt junior transfer from Akron. And Virginia Beach, his 2nd interception of the year.
That was just a great break on the football. You see, you have to go way outside with the long field. Number 18, Dante Barnes, just steps in front, and if not for the tackle, he's going to score. A lot of air on that football, not a lot of zip. You give the defender a chance to make a break, and a guy like Dante Barnes knows how to get it. His 2nd interception on the year.
Spartans in great field position at the Bethune 37-yard line. Dennis Brown back throws complete in the middle of the field to the tight end Childress, and Childress fights for yards and is close to a first down. About 9 yards on the reception. Reggie Sandilands there defensively.
Dennis Brown is doing a good job of spreading the ball around. He has a couple passes to D'Angelo Branch, to halfback, some big plays to Chris Bell, number 19, and 2 passes to the tight end, number 40, Sharon Childress. So doing a good job of getting everyone involved in the passing game. Talking
about Dante Barnes, you saw the shot of him there. Played at the University of Akron. When he was there, they had the Rubber Bowl. Now they're in that new stadium in Precision. 2nd down and 1. Branch has the ball, has the first down, still on his feet, bounces to the outside and cuts inside and is knocked out at about the 2 or 3 yard line. Antoine Cox finally knocked him out, but D'Angelo Branch with the good run, good for 26 yards and 1st and goal.
D'Angelo Branch, I tell you what, he hasn't got a lot of chances today, but he gets one right here, off tackle. One guy misses in the box, and no one else can stop him until he gets well inside the 5-yard line. Great job of blocking downfield by the Norfolk State wide receivers also.
They're going to call it 1st and goal at the 3.
First down is always a good time for play action, especially on the goal line.
Branch the 2nd back in the eye right now. He has the ball, touchdown. Untouched by human hands as he went into the end zone.
And no need for play action when you have a guy running downhill like that. You just do the smart thing from a coaching standpoint, hand it off to him and let him score. D'Angelo Branch's 2nd touchdown of the day. You can tell number 1, Josh Smiley, overruns the play, and Branch just goes straight downhill. Hey, the quickest way to get there is go ahead towards the goal post.
That's the lot for the point after is good. So it didn't take them long to get into the end zone. Branch carried much of that load on that drive. They convert the interception to 7 more points, and it's 23-0 in the second quarter.
Hey.
23-0. Who would have thunk it, huh? Norfolk. 23-0. Who would have thunk it, huh? Norfolk State over the Bethune Cookman Wildcats. And what set up that last touchdown was Dante Barnes. He set the quarterback up, didn't he?
Yeah, the quarterback's looking right, and when he goes left, he's already breaking before he releases the football. And you have to have some anticipation and take chances. And then you come back with number 3, D'Angelo Branch, putting the Spartans ahead 23-0, a very big lead here in the second quarter. Bethune-Cookman will really have their work cut out for them, especially running an option attack.
Here's the kick. Here's Keith on the return from about the 3-yard line. And Keith gets back to the 21, make it the 22. Bethune with the ball for the 5th time today from their own 22. They punted, and then they had an interception.
Chris Bell, number 3, 21, 19. Let's go, baby. We in here. Let's go. We all day, baby. Let's go, baby.
18-yard return, ball at the 22.
And Bethune-Cookman, I mean, what the Wildcats need to do is just get a couple of first downs. First of all, your defense isn't getting any chance to rest because you keep going 3 and outs, and then the last time you had the turnover. They just need to get 1 or 2 first downs, settle the team down, and just try to get a score and slowly get back into the football game.
Here's Francois back in the lineup on the option. He tries to go to the left side this time, and he's hit by Anthony Taylor immediately, number 31 on the far side. Also, number 55 is over there, Marcellus Jackson. As you look at the bad numbers for Alvin Wyatt and his squad, he is not accustomed to being in this position. Down 23-0.
Because, you know, we've covered games with Bethune-Cookman where this running game has been unstoppable. This wide bone attack, I mean, they can put up 200, 300 yards rushing per game. But today, give credit to this Norfolk defense. They're playing very strong.
Francois, now he throws over the middle to the running back who was in motion and came out and came up with the reception. Terrell Whitehead there to make the stop on Fred McCaskill, the senior out of DeLand, Florida. Number 26, the criminal justice major, made the reception.
Yeah, and Bethune-Cookman going to a no-huddle attack. I really like this. You change the pace of the game. You have to try something different.
15-yard pass. This time play action again. Francois reverses his field, and he is dropped down at about the 45-yard line. Jamie Short, number 8, the first one that hit him there.
Maurice Francois, the 6 feet, 195-pound sophomore, number 7. And this is what he can bring to the table. Hey, the pass isn't open. I can make a play because I'm an athlete and still make a positive play. And that's what you like from a guy like Maurice Francois. He can turn a negative play into a big play for the Bethune-Cookman offense.
5-yard gain on the last run, 2nd and 5. And nothing doing up the middle that time for Francois. He injured his collarbone last year against Delaware State. Last year against Norfolk State, he did not throw a pass, but did run for 179 yards and a touchdown. You're watching ESPNU's college football prime time. We're at Dick Price Stadium on the campus of Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia, along with Alabama State alum Eddie Robinson. I'm Charlie Neal. Glad you could join us for this primetime edition of MEAC football. 3rd down and 5 now for Bethune. Francois trying to go left. It's a good block over there. Gets the first down in front of his own bench and run out of bounds. Finally run out of bounds by Anthony Taylor, 31, but we may have a flag down on the play. Looks like a penalty marker's down. Fleming Williams, our referee.
Disregard the flag for ineligible downfield. It was not a pass.
So it was not a pass. They thought that somebody had gone downfield, one of the linemen. So they pick up the flag. The first down is gained, and across midfield for the first time today are the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman.
And Francois, what you want to do when he passes, you want to give him that run-pass option. So he'll try to roll out of the pocket where if he doesn't see anything downfield, he can use his legs and make a big play running the football.
Ball at the 49 of Norfolk State. Now the option to the right side. And he is hit right there, number 31, Anthony Taylor, who's right there to beat him.
Yeah, Anthony Taylor came into this game with 20 tackles, 4 tackles for loss. And you like what they're doing. They're playing assignment football. Hey, one guy's on the dive. Anthony Taylor scrapes around, and he's coming right there downhill, right in the face of Maurice Francois. Luckily, he was able to hold on to that football, and that's what they're doing a good job of today. Everyone is playing assignment football. Norfolk State very productive defensively.
For the second week in a row, they've called Anthony Taylor's name a lot. 10 tackles last week against William and Mary. And he's had some pretty big hits today against Bethune. Second down now. No gain on the last play. Francois going to the air, and as a man out there, it's complete. And on the reception, McCaskill down the sideline, and he goes out of bounds on about this 7-yard line. Terrell Whitehead ran him down, but they really caught Norfolk State sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, the sleeping giant has awakened. You look at this wide bone attack, they come with a play fake, and then you get one guy going behind the defense. All it takes is one guy to look at the quarterback a little too long and not read his keys. Then you have another number 26, Fred McCaskill, who's wide open and able to make a big play for the Bethune Cookman Wildcats.
Good for 37 yards, first and goal at the 7, and Bethune trying to erase the 0 that's on the scoreboard on their side. Now Norfolk State defense wants to call a timeout as you see Alan Wyatt pulls his troops over to the sideline and talks to them, and he's mixed it up pretty good in this drive, haven't they?
Yeah, he does a great job. I mean, look at the first plays, 29 yards off of the first 18 plays, and the last play a big gain of 42 yards with the pass play to Fred McCaskill. But defensively, that's what really worries you about this option attack. You can have them under control the entire football game, but because there's so many different things you can do off of the same play, if you don't play assignment football every play, you give up a 42-yard play. And that was the problem that Norfolk State had last year. They would play them good for 5 or 10 plays in a row. One guy would make a mistake or try to do someone else's job, and bam, you're giving up a big play.
Yeah. But, you know, they threw that interception earlier today. You're talking about this Bethune Cookman team. You know, they've thrown 5 interceptions so far this season. Last year, they only threw 4, I believe, all season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of interesting, huh? Here's first and goal now. And here's the handoff in the middle, and they go straight ahead with Joe Morris on the catch, on the run, rather. And he's down to about the 1-yard line.
But you know, you talk about the interception and the turnover problem that Bethune Cookman has had. You know, usually when you're running that option attack, you don't create a lot of turnovers because you're not passing the ball a lot and you're running the football. You're going downhill. The quarterback has the ball in his hand quite a bit. So it's very uncharacteristic that they've been having all of these turnovers in the first 2 ball games.
Going to be interesting now. They bring a host of different people in the lineup right now. Moment's in there, and they give it to Moment, and he is hit immediately. He did not get there. Moment on the carry, and it was Anthony Taylor once again, number 31.
Yeah, Anthony Taylor, that's a Spartan that came to play some football. I don't think not only did he not score a touchdown, he lost a yard here on a 2nd and 1 situation. Looked like that was big number 91 stuffing things up in the middle. Freshman, the redshirt freshman.
Moment again with the ball, and let's see, no signal from the line judge or the head linesman. That'll bring up a 4th down situation. Moment just getting his first action. He's carried the last 2 times down here near the goal line, and as they unpile, it's still going to be a 4th down facing Bethune.
Yeah, full house backfield. You see 2 fullbacks in the game leading, but they're not getting any movement from that offensive line. Those big guys have to get some movement, and I think Bethune Cookman, rightfully so, is going to go for it on 4th down. You're down 23-0 on the road. I don't think a field goal is really going to help you.
Well, let's see what they come up with. A lot of time being wasted. Now Norfolk State calls a timeout. So that's the 2nd timeout the Spartans have taken. You know, don't forget Sunday afternoon, ESPNU kicks off women's college soccer action The Tigers of Auburn take on the Ole Miss Rebels. It's women's college soccer on ESPNU Sunday. Comes your way at 3 p.m. Eastern. For more information, log on ESPNU.com. Along with Eddie Robinson, Charlie Neal here at Dick Price Stadium. Overcast day, skies all day long, but no rain. And that's been the good news. Pleasant, good football day.
I'll tell you what, Charlie, I don't think the football can get any closer to the goal line. I don't think you can slide a credit card in between the nose of the football and the score. You may want to just try a quarterback sneak because you only need less than an inch. You see, there you go. I mean, just the toe of the referee's foot separates that ball from the goal line, but nonetheless, the Spartans have been playing tough on this goal line stand.
Moment is behind the quarterback, Francois. Is Francois going to keep it? He's giving it the moment he's in. Touchdown. Yes. 3 straight carries for Moment. It took him a while, but he finally took a moment to get in there, didn't he?
Hey, it took some patience, a little persistence. Hey, we're not going to give up, but I like the attitude because we're a running football team. If you're Bethune Cookman and you're Alvin White, we hang our hat on running the option and going downhill. We're not going to get inside the 5-yard line and start getting cute and passing the football. We're going to keep smashing it up in there until we score. You like that type of physical attitude and go for it on a 4th down.
78-yard drive. The point after by Kowalski is good, and Bethune on the board. 23-7 our score. We're in the second quarter here in Norfolk. 6:56 the time remaining before halftime. There's Mr. Moment, his first touchdown of the year. Both teams feature some pretty outstanding players. Marcus Lattimore for Burns and LaMarcus Joyner. St. Thomas Aquinas should be a good one.
I tell you what, they've been having some very exciting high school football games. When you're looking at the players of the future, those are the guys who are going to go on to play big-time college football. So it's good to see those guys and see the fundamentals that they bring to the game from a high school level.
Flukerberry and Bell, the deep men to receive the kick by Kowalski. Bethune finally, after being lethargic early on in this contest, getting something going. Here's Flukerberry trying to get to the corner. And finally brought down by Antoine Cox.
He's offended by number 4. That's Antoine Cox.
18-yard return. Let's look at Bethune's last scoring drive. This is the best position and best offense that they've had all day. An 11-play, 78-yard drive. Remember, the first 3 possessions was a minus 19 yards.
Yeah, they started off with 3 possessions for minus 19 yards, and the 4th one was an interception. So I know Coach Wyatt feels good about that drive, and now they have to play some defense, try to get the ball back in the hands of your offense.
On 32-yard line, there's Branch. Branch with about an 8-yard run across the 40 to the 41 before Reggie Sandilands, number 11, made the stop for Bethune.
I like the versatility of this Norfolk State offense because you start off the game with 4 and 5 wide receivers. You let it, it's the Dennis Brown show. He's throwing left, throwing right. Now you have a guy with D'Angelo Branch, a 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago. You can come in and get into a traditional offense, one back, and let him run downhill. So when you have that versatility to pass with a guy like Dennis Brown and run it, man, you're tough to stop offensively.
2nd and 2. Branch again. And he's very close to the first down marker. Looks like he may have it. Ryan Lewis there defensively, number 13. And this Norfolk State squad, Eddie, started the season with a win over Virginia State, 28-10. The defense forced 5 turnovers in that ball game. Branch ran for 2 touchdowns in that contest. Then they lost to A&T by 4, 17-13. In fact, they were held scoreless in the second half after leading 13-10. At halftime, and then last week lost to William & Mary 27-15. In fact, trailed 24-0 in that game after 3 periods, and they held Branch to just 31 yards. This time, they pitch it back to Branch. He turns the corner. Good move. Gets the first down, but that was a first down run, and he gains about 8 more yards before Arkeith Smith ran him out of bounds.
And I like D'Angelo Branch. I mean, this guy can run between the tackles, and he also has the speed to get around the edge. But you look at this Norfolk State season, to finish up on what you were saying, they're 1-2. But, you know, last week they played the 5th-ranked team in FCS in William and Mary. And like they said, they had some very good players on that football team, a team that actually beat Virginia, moving up a rank. So, you know, that's a tough ball game for Norfolk State. In the game before against A&T, they lost because they couldn't score in the goal line stand. So, although they're 1-2, they're a pretty good 1-2.
Branch off the right side this time. First down gain. And he's down inside the 45 to the 44. Jamal Walls there to stop him defensively. This Bethune Cookman team will play Morgan State at home next week. As you look at Branch on this run. And then they travel to Dover to take on the Hornets of Delaware State. And then they'll hit the road again the following week at Savannah State. First down and 10, Norfolk State. Ball at the 44 of Bethune.
Have the blitz on.
But he lets it go. Knocked away. Good defense downfield that time by Cox. Antoine Cox on the stop.
I tell you what, Cox, number 4 for Bethune-Cookman, said enough is enough. They've been going deep to Chris Bell the entire football game, and he's not getting any help. They're blitzing up the middle. You had same play. They're going to the post route. You know you have no middle of the field safety. He does a great job of coming across with his left arm and not getting the penalty with the right arm and knocking that football down. But he's going to have to step up and make some plays because they're putting him one-on-one with number 19, Chris Bell, and that's the guy who's been doing most of the damage in the passing game.
Well, he wasn't fooled by the play action, and the blitz did not get to Dennis Brown. The offensive line did a pretty good job of keeping the blitzing defense off of their quarterback. Now here's Brown. He decides he's going to take off and run, and he run out of bounds right in front of the Norfolk State bench by Ryan Lewis, number 15.
And that's a win for this Bethune-Cookman defense. You get them in a passing situation and you cover everybody downfield. But with a guy like Dennis Brown, it's the third part to that defensive equation. Once you cover everyone downfield, you then have to rally and make a tackle because this guy can come out the pocket, turn into a running back, and make a play where you've done good defensively, almost be a negative thing because he can then run for the first down.
Third down now. It's 3rd and about 6 facing Norfolk State. Brown with time, stands in there, lets it go. There he's out there. The pass is incomplete. Or did he come up with it?
I think he was out of bounds when he made it. But that was a great play. Man, what recovery speed by Antoine Cox.
It was.
And this is going to be a good matchup, I think, the rest of the game because, of course, Chris Bell made a couple big plays early on. He had the big reception that led to the first down and another touchdown. And of course, Antoine Cox just came up and knocked one down in the post play. Now let's take a look at it.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, he made the catch, but he was out of bounds.
He was out of the end zone when he made the catch. So the first time today, we'll see the punting unit of Norfolk State as Rudd comes on to punt it away, sophomore out of Richmond, Virginia. A little pooch kick, but it was almost effective. It just took a bounce and rolled into the end zone. Bethune will have the ball with 4:08 to go in the half at their own 20 when we come back, trailing 23-7. Chris Bell, his team leading 23-7, and he's made some big catches tonight. That last one, though, he wanted for 6, but it wasn't to be.
I tell you what, football is the ultimate team sport, but there's always the matchup within the game, and that's between number 19, Chris Bell, and 4, Antoine Cox. Antoine Cox wins this one. He does a great job of going up and tapping the ball. Chris Bell still comes down with the football. But see that little white line, Chris? You got to stay inside of that thing for it to count for a touchdown. But these guys have been playing lights out football, going back and forth with each other, and that's a one-on-one matchup that could determine the outcome of this football game.
So it's first down and 10 Bethune right now. Trailing 23-7. Francois, who led them on their last scoring drive, that 78-yard drive, looking to go 80 yards this time. And again, they keep the ball on the ground. This time they Man on the carry for Bethune is Joe Morris, number 15. Frank Clemens there defensively. 2 number 15s playing in this game today for Bethune also. The running back, Joe Morris, and of course the defensive linebacker, Ryan Lewis.
But Charlie, I'm sure you're going to keep us all organized up here so the viewers at home know exactly whose son we're talking about.
2nd and 7 after the gain of 3. Here's a pitch to McCaskill going to the left side. McCaskill with the quick feet close to the first down marker may have enough.
Yeah, I like McCaskill. He showed something in the passing game. Early on, he had a big 42-yard play, and now a little scamper coming around the edge, and he plays that A-back position. So he has a difficult job because he's asked to have a lot to do in the running game, but also you have to have good hands because he'll release and go out for some passes also.
Yeah, that pass he caught early on that previous drive was good for 37 yards. So here we go, 1st down and 10. 3:15 remaining before halftime. Francois directing traffic along with McCaskill. In motion is Bell. Here's the option to the left side, and he just threw that away. Was that? I don't want to get hit, and if I give it to my man, he's going to get killed, so I'm just going to protect everybody.
Well, you know, they had Andros Bell, number 8. He's coming around, and he's the pitch man, and he has to keep a good pitch relationship. And you know what? That's not a bad pitch, because if Bell keeps that pitch relationship, he has about another 5 or 10 yards up the sideline. So the quarterback knows when I'm running, I'm just pitching to a blind spot, and it's up to that back to stay with that good pitch relationship. But I think also he didn't want to get hit. He just threw that thing out.
2nd down and 9. They lost a yard on that after the ball was pitched, because they pitched it after a yard loss, and no gain on that 2nd down run. Corin Hammond there he is, making the stop defensively, number 34 out of Louisville, Kentucky. Went to Xavier High down there, redshirt sophomore. And it'll bring up a 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, the front 7 from Norfolk State is doing a good job against his option attack. You usually expect the safeties like number 9 Terrell Whitehead and 21 Josh Anderson to have to run the lanes and make plays when you're running against an option team. But the front 7, the defensive tackles, number 95 Ray Jennings and Mike Alphonse, 31 Anthony Taylor, all of those guys have been doing such a good job that the secondary players really haven't had to factor into the running game, which is a big plus for Norfolk State.
Now Francois looking to throw, and it's caught for a 1st down right across the 40-yard line, and it was Smith coming up with the reception, number 80. That's Antonio Smith. Jamie Short was there defending, but they moved the chains.
Yeah, good job by Francois. You want to roll him out. Not a big guy in stature, but did a good job of putting a little English on that ball, throwing it to the side and making the receiver adjust to the ball so he can stay away from the defender.
1st down, play action again by Francois. In trouble, dances away, and still on his feet. And bounced out of bounds in front of the Norfolk State bench after a gain of about 7 yards. Dustin Johnson knocked him out. The clock stops with 1:25 to go. They say 1:26 there. Bethune with 2 timeouts left. Norfolk without any timeouts.
And Bethune Cookman will need at least 1 big play in this drive in order to get in the scoring position, because time is not on their side. Only 1 minute and 26 seconds left in the half. And if you're Norfolk State, you can't go for those play fakes in this situation. If they want to run the football, let them run it, rally up, make the tackle for a 5-yard gain. But you don't want your secondary biting up on the play fake with 1 minute 26 seconds left in the half.
Leaving somebody behind you, right?
Exactly, to give up the big play.
It is 2nd down. Francois with open field in front of him is on his feet and runs out of bounds, stops the clock, gets the 1st down to the 34-yard line of Norfolk State before Dustin Johnson ran him out of bounds. That play took 6 seconds. And so now 1:20 remaining before halftime.
And Charlie, with a quarterback like number 7, Maurice Francois, who's such a good runner, and this is almost like Bethune Cookman Wildcats running the Wildcat offense, because he's like a running back playing quarterback. When he pulls it down, he's just as good as any of the running backs on this Bethune Cookman team. You almost rather him stay in the pocket and throw it.
1st down and 10 from the gun. Francois again under pressure, throws it downfield, and it's caught inside the 10 down to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal. And on the reception that time was Reams again. What great hands for this young man as Cooperwood made the stop.
Javon Reeves is going up and making the play. Francois is just throwing this up for grass. You're throwing it into double coverage, and number 3 Reeves goes up and make a play, and that's what you got to have. You have to have a guy that's going to do something above the X's and O's, and that's exactly what Reeves did, and struggled and almost got into the end zone. And
actually, he made an adjustment because the ball was a little underthrown, and he came back and came after that ball.
Yep, wasn't a good play, just a great individual effort.
Moment. He has a touchdown already. He's back there, has the ball, and he's tripped up at about the 3-yard line. 45 seconds left on the clock. Clock continuing to run. Bethune, remember, with a couple of timeouts still remaining. Moment again, and I think he's in this time. Yes, he is. Moment with his second rushing touchdown. It comes with 33 seconds left before halftime. So an 80-yard drive there after going stagnant. The first 4 drives for Bethune. Boy, look at it.
Yeah, Moment. Now they're getting that push from the offensive line. They're firing off with confidence. They're back into this ball game. Remember, they were down 23-0 with minus 20 yards on the first 3 possessions, and now you come back with 2 big touchdowns to get back in the ball game.
So they can go into halftime down by just 9 points. So it's a new ball game with 33 seconds to go. 23-14, and Moment with a pair of rushing touchdowns. As we said, their first 4 possessions for Bethune, very anemic, including an interception, but their last 2 drives, a 78-yarder and an 80-yarder.
I mean, that was a great job of running a 2-minute offense within the option attack. I mean, you have a guy like Maurice Francois who can drop back in the pass coverage. If no one is open, he can take off running. And then you needed a guy to step up and make a big play, and that was number 3, Javon Reeves. He gets the big reception, and then Moment is able to come back and take advantage of the moment and finish it off for his second touchdown of the day.
Reeves with a couple of big catches in both drives. 29 yards, I believe, in that last drive, and 37 yards in the previous drive, and he's helped this Bethune team move the ball down the field and put some points on the board. Looks like they were getting ready to get run out of the stadium and out of the state there for a moment, and now they've come back.
Well, you know, everything went exactly the plan from Coach Adrian with what he wanted to do. He wanted to get up with a big lead. You know, you get a 23-point lead on the option team, you start to think that, hey, they have to pass, and that's the advantage to us defensively. But give Bethune Cookman credit for staying within their game plan, running and throwing, and getting back into the football game with the 2 scores.
Luca Berry, along with Chris Bell, deep. It'll be Fluka Berry. He drops the ball right at about the 23-yard line, and that's as far as he's going to go. So the time remaining, 29 seconds before halftime. You see Dennis Brown going upstairs trying to go with the big play to his big play wide receiver.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that because they had a chance in that North Carolina A&T game when they lost. I think they were up like 10-6 or 10-7, something like that. And they were driving in this same situation. At the end of the second quarter, they have a ball that's tipped, it's intercepted by A&T. A&T comes back and scores. Instead of them having a 20-6 lead, it was a much tighter ball game. So I think that's why you're having the defensive and the cautious stance here. Like, hey, we're up by 9 points. Let's just go in and take these 9 points and be happy with it.
Yeah, they're just going to go into the locker room. The Bethune's going to call a timeout. Why? I don't know. I mean, they're not going to do anything. It's second down. They don't have to, you know.
Well, Bethune Cookman, if they came into this with, if they have the 3 timeouts, they can force them to punt, which you never know what could happen in the punting game. You could block the punt or something like that. So that must be the philosophy of Coach Wide. And, you know, I like it. Hey, coach all the way to the very end. Make them execute, you know, every snap, because you don't know what can happen if you get them to a 4th and you have to punt situation.
Well, they only have 1 timeout remaining. They used 1 of the 2 that they had left. So they have 1 timeout left. Now, if they call a timeout here, that means they have no more timeouts remaining. And he decides not to. He's going to take him into the locker room. Alvin Wyatt, his team, down by 9 points here at the break. It was a 23-0 lead. And one of the things we're going to look at is how important that missed extra point is. Maybe down the road will play into the outcome of this particular contest. Chris Bell has been a big man here, but so is the moment for Bethune. Back to Norfolk in a moment.
This is Tailgate Week, presented by Kingsford Charcoal.
23-14 our score here at halftime as we get ready to start the third quarter. And we welcome you back to College Football Prime Time, presented by Citi, along with Eddie Robinson. I'm Charlie Neal, and glad you could join us here. And you look at this first half, it started out looking like it was going to be all Norfolk State there in the first half there, but then finally Bethune got on the board. And there you see the first touchdown, and there again, here's a 62-yard touchdown.
And then you have the big touchdown by number 19, Chris Bell. This guy's been the guy for Norfolk State in the passing game today. And we had a 23-0 lead, and you thought that was it as you get a second touchdown here by number 3, D'Angelo Branch. And it looked like it was going to be a runaway by Norfolk State, especially when you're playing an option team. But the Bethune Cookman, they settled down, and then the guy with the great last name, Jonathan Moment, he takes that in for the first touchdown. He comes back with a second touchdown up the gut. And I tell you what, this Bethune Cookman offense really settled down and made some big plays and got themselves back into this football game.
When you talk about Moment, he only carried the ball 5 times in the first half, 5 yards, but he went in the end zone 2 times.
I'll take him on my fantasy team any day of the week with those 2 touchdowns. The turnovers, Bethune Cookman had the 1 interception, but other than that, a pretty error-free game. Not penalties hasn't been a factor. I think the biggest thing is in the second half, Bethune Cookman was able to get some things out of the passing game to open up that option attack. It made those defensive backs settle down a little bit from Norfolk State, and they did some good things running and throwing the football.
As you said, only 3 penalties between the 2 teams in the first half for a total of 17 yards. So that's not bad. But Bethune will start the second half getting the football. They won the opening toss, deferred, decided they would take the go on defense first, which proved to be maybe a mistake on their part as you looked at Alvin Wyatt. And there's his counterpart on the near sideline, Pete Adrian, in his 5th year as the head coach here in Norfolk, Virginia, as a Spartans man. Of course, Alvin Wyatt still owns a number of records down there at Bethune Cookman. Just 4 losing seasons in the previous 13 years. Last year they finished in a 4-way tie for 2nd in the MEAC with Delaware State, Hampton, and Florida A&M. And he's telling his man, hold on to the football. Here comes the kick. Going to be picked up by Keith right at about the 12-yard line. Keith coming up the field and dropped right at the 25-yard line by Josh Anderson. So it'll be first down and 10. Bethune gets the ball. They scored on their last 2 possessions before halftime. The last touchdown coming with just 33 seconds left before the half on a pair of back-to-back long drives, 78 and 80 yards respectively. Let's look at what the 2 quarterbacks did for their team in the first half. They started off with Maurice Johnson, then Matthew Francois came on, and Francois 4-4 in the passing department did a pretty good job. Although Johnson is supposed to be the better passer. First down and 10 from their own 25. There's a pass out in the flat. It's complete to Bell. And Bell after 30, a 5-yard gain. That is Andros Bell. Jamie Short there, the other number 8 there, to make the stop defensively.
Yeah, you take a look at Maurice Francois. Of course, he was 4 for 4, now 5 for 5 in the passing game. And although he's the better runner, the passes that he's completing are those nice, safe passes like the one you just saw. You know, wide receiver screens, or sometimes he breaks down the defense running the football and he's able to complete real high percentage passes. So if this guy is a very good runner and he can complete those high percentage passes, he gives you the best chance to win.
Morris in the backfield with him. He throws it out to McCaskill. That was close to being knocked away by Thorpe. Yeah, Thorpe almost. They're calling it incomplete, but there's a question whether that was a lateral.
And it was very close to a lateral. And usually what the referees would do in that case is you let them play it out, and then you can make a determination. But I guess once the whistle blew, the play is dead. You can see he's throwing it out left. You can't tell from that angle, but it seems like it could have been a fumble.
Yeah, that was Lamont Thorpe that had his hands on it.
Yeah, that's
junior.
a lateral.
That is a lateral.
Trust me, I was in that Music City Miracle game with the Tennessee Titans, and they called it good. And it was a lot closer than that play. That was a lateral.
That was a lateral. And there's Pete Adrian. He's beside himself on the sideline because he knew that was a lateral. That was a backward pass, and it should be Norfolk State's ball.
Well, not only that, Norfolk State had an opportunity to scoop and score. It could have easily been a Norfolk State touchdown, which totally changed the complexity of this game. But once the referees blow the whistle, then the play is dead.
Right. So quick whistle, and Bethune holds on to the football, and it's second down and about 7. And make it a third down play after the run by Morris. Deion Norris on the stop defensively, number 98. Third down and short.
Well, this is the type of situation that Bethune Cookman usually excels in. Third and short, where you have the opportunity to run your option offense, or you can run a quick play action pass and complete it for the first down. So now their full offense is open to them. Earlier in this first half, they've been in 3rd and 15 and 3rd and 20 situations, something that they really can't execute in.
Morris again, and Morris will not get to the first down. Number 31 was there. Anthony Taylor, he's been all over the field today.
Yeah, Anthony Taylor's playing a lights-out ball game, and if you want to come with that beat-back and run right off tackle, your inside linebacker is the guy that has to shuffle down the line of scrimmage and make this play. And that number 31 shows up right there, Anthony Taylor, for a tackle for loss, and forces Bethune-Cookman into a punting situation.
So to bring up a 4th and 1 situation, that'll bring on Kowalski. Corey Kowalski to punt it away. This will be his 4th punt of the afternoon. And it's down right at the 30-yard line, so that's where Norfolk State will go to work after a 35-yard punt by the freshman from Rockledge, Florida.
That's 1-800-223-9053.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by Kingsford Charcoal, proud sponsor of Kingsford Charcoal Tailgate Week. 12:27 the time remaining here in the 3rd quarter, where the Spartans of Norfolk State will have the ball for the first time in the second half at their own 36-yard line, leading this game over Bethune 23-14. First down and 10. Dennis Brown puts it into the left of D'Angelo Branch. Branch with a couple of yards out to about the 33-yard line. Ryan Davis there defensively, number 49, and one score from the MEAC so far today. Howard University finally getting on the winning side of the scoreboard, beating crosstown rival Georgetown University 14-11.
I tell you, as Jay Walker would say, that's one academic institution beating another one. Competitive ball game, too.
Yes, it was. Hard to get 11 points in a football game, isn't it?
Something weird happened.
Here's a little play action from Brown, in and out of the hands of the tight end, Sharon Childress. He had it and decided to run before he caught it, right?
Yeah, common mistake. I mean, give Dennis Brown credit. He makes the great play here. He buys time for the leg with the design rollout, and the tight end, Sharon Childress, already has 2 catches today, a pretty good pass receiving tight end, but just tried to do a little bit too much with the football.
3rd down now for Norfolk State. They've done a pretty good job of Actually, they have not had any third down conversions. Well, I should say they shouldn't have. They're 0 for 3 in third down conversions because most of the time they were
scoring on first and second down. Yeah.
This is a 3rd and 8 now for Norfolk State. Blitz coming, and it's caught for a first down on the near sideline. And right there is Flukerberry with the catch. Tony Reed defending 37. So they move the chains with the first down gained on the reception, and they convert the 3rd down.
And Dwight Flukerberry, he's a punt returner, kick returner, but I'm looking at the big picture, and Chris Bell had a great first half from a reception standpoint. Now I'm seeing Bethune-Cookman keeping the middle safety and taking some of that deep field away from Chris Bell, so guys like Flukerberry are going to have to step up in the passing game.
Here's Branch following his blockers into the hole. Off the right side, a penalty marker goes down. This Spartan team picked 5th in the preseason poll to finish 5th in the conference. Bethune picked to finish 4th in the preseason poll. And of course, South Carolina State.
Holding 52 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Fala Cassini, the center, transferred from College of the Siskiyous out in California. You call them the Sequoias.
I call them the Sequoias. I always want to see those big trees.
And we talked about number 82. We saw him go down for Bethune earlier. That was the receiver Kirkland. They called it a deep ankle sprain, and he is gone. And also defensive back Antonio Cox dislocated his shoulder in the first half. So lost 2 players that are starters in that Bethune lineup. A little screen set up on the near side. Here's Branch. Good play from behind by number 15, Ryan Lewis, the linebacker. Great play, because that had all kinds of disaster written on it, didn't it?
Yeah, Ryan Lewis, man, this guy showed some hyper speed just coming out of nowhere because this thing was gone. Great job of reading and reacting, then having the speed to close and make the play on the D'Angelo Branch, who's a very good receiver. You like this guy coming from inside out and making that play right there. Tell you what, if he's not there to make that play, Charlie, that's a first down and a lot more.
He had a big play against South Carolina State. In fact, an interception that he stripped and then got stripped at the 1-yard line for a touchback, which caused him to lose the game. 2nd down and 9. Dennis Brown stands in there, plenty of time. Here's Bell, first down, inside the 40, down to the 37. Arkey Smith there to stop him defensively. But Mr. Bell with another reception today for the Spartans of Norfolk State. That is his 6th reception of the game. That equals what he had a week ago against William and Mary.
I tell you what, this guy's coming up and stepping up big in this ball game with the touchdown reception. But Dennis Brown, that whole play started with the offensive line. He had enough time to bake a pizza back there. You're going to have to get some pressure on him. If the guys up front can't do it, you're going to have to blitz with your linebackers and your secondary. You can't let him feel that comfortable in the pocket.
6 receptions, 162 yards for Bell. This time it's the quarterback Brown keeping the ball, spinning out of tackles, still on his feet, and down to the 30-yard line. Antoine Cox there, the twin of Antonio. They're twin brothers who separated his shoulder.
Yeah, you take a look at the keys that through my eyes. Of course, Bethune-Cookman, that option game, 300 yards rushing last year. They haven't been able to repeat that success on the ground, but they've had big plays in the passing game. Norfolk State, Dennis Brown has been sensational today, and of course, the Spartan secondary needing to stop the run. Well, hey, they've been stopping the run with the front 7, so they haven't had to have secondary help to stop the run of Bethune-Cookman.
And we'll look at the results after this play. It is 2nd down. 2nd and 4. Brown wants to go to the air, has some running room, and gets the first down. Still on his feet, down the sideline and out of bounds. Inside the 10-yard line, he's run out at about the 9 by Antoine Cox. Let's finish out that what we're talking about there, Eddie.
Yeah, you look at the results of this. Bethune-Cookman with the option game, the quarterback 9 of 11, 121 yards. But they've done a good job as far as doing everything right. They seriously settled down in the 2nd quarter. But the big thing is Dennis Brown. This guy has a touchdown pass and 216 yards. I mean, he's been doing great. And also the big run just there. He's making all of the right decisions of when to throw the football and when to run it. I like what's Brown doing for me today.
22 yards on that last run for Dennis Brown. Gives his team a 1st and goal inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. And now they're going to have to use a timeout because there was some miscommunication on the part of some of the people in the lineup right there. So the Spartans were going to call a timeout, but Dennis Brown out of Miami, Florida, played at the University of Connecticut before transferring here, and against Bethune a year ago, he was 9 of 17, 102 yards. He threw a pair of interceptions, ran for 67 yards and a touchdown, but he's done a pretty good job today of protecting the football.
Yeah, great job of course, connecting with his big play receiver, Chris Bell, but also Fluker Berry. And doing a good job of just passing the ball around. He's getting everyone involved in his offensive game plan.
And don't forget Sunday afternoon, ESPNU serve sets and spikes coverage of women's college volleyball. It's the Rebels of Ole Miss taking on the Lady Vols of Tennessee in women's college volleyball on ESPNU Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. 8:56. That's the time left here in the third quarter. Along with Eddie Robinson, I'm Charlie Neal. This MEAC contest at Dick Price Stadium, named after a former track and field coach and football coach and former athletic director who passed away earlier this year. Dick Price Stadium. Here's it fade into the end zone. A blitz was coming, and they did a good job of picking that up. Reggie Sandilands was coming with a vengeance, and Dennis Brown saw it. Also coming in there was Ryan Lewis, the linebacker out of Pompano Beach, Florida. There you're looking at him there, number 15.
Now, I like the call of bringing pressure for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats because you only have 8 yards to cover. So you don't have as much room to cover from a secondary position. You can bring pressure, and your guys only have to cover for a couple of seconds because you can't let Brown sit in that pocket and get real comfortable like he's been doing all day.
33-17 was the score a year ago down in Daytona, which Bethune beat the Spartans of Norfolk State. It was a 7-point game 2 years ago here, which Norfolk State won 38-31. Here's a pass and close to the end zone. Oh, what a tackle. Right at about the 3-yard line. Chris Bell with the reception, and Antoine Cox with the takedown from behind, and he's about 2 yards shy of the end zone.
Yeah, that's been our matchup all day. I mean, number 4, Antoine Cox with the closing speed. It looks like he's about to score, but no. Hold on, big fella. Hold on. I mean, Antoine Cox has played some lights-out football. Of course, he's given up a big score to 19 Chris Bell, but he's did a good job of recovering and settled down. He had a couple big plays and pass breakups, and that was a big tackle to keep Norfolk State out of the end zone.
Now we see the I formation. Branch, the second back in the I. Branch has it. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. He will not get there. Good play there by the white jerseys.
On the carry.
He was grabbed from behind first by R.K. Smith, number 22. Would not allow him to get there. So a field goal possibly coming as we have an injured Spartan down on the field. Can't see who it is right now. It's like one of the offensive linemen.
Number 60, senior Jerome Johnson, 6'2", 300 pounds. Banged up on that third down attempt.
Yeah, he had his first career start. He's a senior out of Portsmouth against Virginia State. Let's see if we can see what happened to him. There he is, number 6. He's pulling.
Yeah, coming around trying to lead on that play, and look like he just falls and everyone puts their weight on top of him. Get bent in awkward positions in those situations at the bottom of the pile, but look like the big guy is up, so hopefully he'll be okay.
Like maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. Huh? A lot of wind.
Yeah, a lot of wind. Big guy. Big guy.
Jerome at 300 pounds, a 6'2" senior with the Wilson High, criminal justice major. In fact, his mom went to Norfolk State, Helen, former Norfolk State Spartan.
Well, you talk about that, and you know, Coach Adrian has done a good job of just recruiting the state of Virginia. He talked about that yesterday, about 60 kids from within the state. A lot of talent in this Tidewater area.
So a 19-yard field goal attempt, and it is good. It took a long time to decide whether it was good. I'm waiting for the referees. They're looking at each other like, what did you see? What did you see? Who's on first? I don't know. What's on second? We'll be back.
The
The 2010 MEAC basketball tournament is turning up the heat in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, March 8th through the 13th at Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Come out and see great Division I basketball action coupled with exciting show-stopping entertainment, activities, and events. Tickets for the MEAC tournament will be available soon at the LJVM Coliseum box office, all Ticketmaster outlets, and online at MEACHoops.com. For more information, call 757-416-7100. MEAC basketball, turning up the heat.
Healthcare alert. Daily registration limits have been established for all Americans seeking affordable access to health care. Register now for immediate acceptance. If you are among the
26-14 our score. And don't forget, at ESPNU, we're all about campus spirit and tradition on and off the field. Here with a special note about Norfolk State University is Joseph Cook. He's a senior mass communications major. Hey, Joseph, who or what is Hank, the Spartan?
If you're walking around Norfolk State Student Union, the students and faculty of NSU would tell you, don't be afraid of that guy. That's just Hank. He got his name from students really as a joke, but the 6'5" Spartan statue is quite the celebrity on campus and is a symbol of the welcoming atmosphere at NSU.
When you're on Norfolk State University's campus, make sure you say hi to Hank. For the ESPNU Campus Connection, I'm Joe Cook.
Thanks, Joe. I thought I saw Hank walking around here earlier today.
I tell you what, you talk about the welcoming spirit to Norfolk. Hank looks pretty mean to me, man. He reminds me of those Spartans on the movie.
Here's a kick to Keith at the 10. Keith trying to get to the outside. They've had him bottled up pretty much all afternoon, and he's out to about the 22, 23-yard line and brought down by Devon Reynolds for the Spartans. So Bethune with their second possession of the second half. 13-yard kickoff return by Courtney Keith.
Bethune Cookman had a quarterback rotation going between number 7 Maurice Francois and 13 Matthew Johnson.
Not recently.
Not recently. It seemed like they're going with the hot hand of Maurice Francois, and I like the move. This is the guy that's moving the football, and he's also been able to complete a couple passes. I think he's 5 for 5, and so, hey, you got to go with the guy that's moving you down the field.
So it's 1st and 10. The ball spotted at the 24. Andros Bell in the backfield with the quarterback, Francois, who's going back to pass, throws it, has it complete. And it's about an 8-yard gain on the play. And it's Antonio Smith on the reception. Anthony Taylor on the stop.
I tell you, look at Maurice Francois in his passing style. I mean, he's not going to remind you of Peyton Manning, but one thing he does is he completes the short pass and the intermediate pass. If you can be accurate with that 20-yard and under pass, especially if you're a good runner like he is, you can be a very effective quarterback.
But one of the things that most teams coming to play Bethune will tell you, as Bell has the ball and not much running though, as he's brought down by Dion Norris, number 98, immediately.
Number 98 makes the defensive play.
But what I was going to say was a lot of times people say you let Bethune, as you look at the numbers on Francois today, perfect in the passing department. That's pretty good. But they want you to throw the ball. They want Bethune to throw the ball because they're so bent on running it and beating you with the run attack. They don't think, a lot of people don't think they are capable of passing it effectively. But they have been today.
Yep,
just by those numbers there by Francois. 6 for 6. And then when he gets in trouble, he can do something with his legs. But now a flag comes down, a late flag. Let's see if it's against Bethune or if it's against Norfolk State. One of the few penalty flags we've seen today as Josh Turner made the stop. It is going to be holding against Bethune. Well, that was a 3rd down play, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a 3rd and 2 play.
Holding on the offense, number 70. This penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's a 4th down play. Natil Curry, Jr. out of Norland High in Miami, guilty of the holding infraction. That was a 3rd and 2 situation. And it's declined, and that'll bring on the punting unit. Kowalski again comes on, and he'll be punting it to Flukerberry.
And those 3rd down situations, what I would like to see, especially with a guy with Maurice Francois, roll him out the pocket, give him a run pass option where he can run for those 2 yards where he doesn't see anyone open down the field.
Flukerberry standing at his own 30. bobbled a little bit. And a fair catch called for and made right at about the 40-yard line by P.J. Hayden. So it'll be Norfolk State getting the ball back at their own 41-yard line, leading it right now 26-14. Future Spartan there enjoying the festivities here. 26-14 Norfolk State on top of Bethune. 5:48 left in the third quarter, and we both talked about at the beginning of the game a benchmark for both of these teams, this particular game, especially as far as the MEAC conference is concerned.
Yeah, you can't fall to 0-2 this early in the season with some tough games left on your schedule.
Dennis Brown on first down, throws, has it incomplete. That hit the ground. It bounced up and hit, and Flukerberry came up with it, but it hit the ground first. It would have been enough for the first down, but Brown didn't hold it up high enough, you know?
Yeah, that's the pass that Dennis Brown was like to complete, man. This guy was wide open. He just couldn't get it to him. But I tell you what, Bethune Cookman is sitting back in this soft zone trying to take away that deep play. They hit him with a couple of deep plays early on, going to number 19, Chris Bell. So you have some pockets inside that zone where you can complete those 5- and 10-yard routes. Dennis Brown just has to be a little more accurate.
Second down and 10. And this one's complete. And it's Chris Bell in the front of the Bethune bench for a first down at the 30, make this a 41-yard line. Antoine Cox running him out of bounds. He's been battling with Mr. Cox all afternoon, and another catch for Bell.
Yeah, Antoine Cox and Chris Bell, they're starting to be good friends over there. They've been battling back and forth, and I think this one, Cox is giving him too much credit. You did a good job of playing him with the deep ball all game long. Hey, get up there and challenge him. You don't want to play off him 25 yards where he can complete a 12-yard comeback, and all you can do is come back and make the tackle.
Couple of catches here in the second half to go with the 5 he had in the first half. He had 144 yards and a touchdown, including a 62-yarder. Here's a pitch to Branch coming around the side. Branch cuts it inside and down to the 35. Good move by Branch. He picked up about 7 yards, and a late flag comes in, maybe against Bethune, as Tony Reed was there to make the stop. Let's see what the penalty is all about.
Now, you know, Tony Reed had a little extra to say to him after that big hit, and it doesn't take much to get a Tony foul in the college game today. Of course, when I was playing, we could do a lot of that stuff and nothing would happen.
We have a dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the defense, number 37. 15 yards from the end of the run. This is an automatic first down.
37, Tony Reed.
And that's a tough call, because my thing, if I hit you real hard, I want to be able to tell you how hard I hit you. And now the way they call it today is once you hit them hard, you just have to go back to the huddle. I mean, that's no fun. Great job by Tony Reed right there. He smashes him. And I think what he does is he gets up and he told him, hey, I just hit you hard. You don't come back this way, and that'll get you a penalty in the college game today. But you have to play within the rules, so it was a good call by the referees. That's how they want it called.
At the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Spartans. Branch with the ball into the secondary, down inside the 10, and down to about the 4-yard line goes Mr. Branch, as Cox was there, Antoine, to make the stop.
Yeah, I really like D'Angelo Branch. I like his running style. I was able to see him run last year when he had those 1,000 yards. And this guy is just a very efficient runner. He has good vision. He has good speed and power. He can go in between the tackles. He can go outside. He's a real good complement to Dennis Brown and Chris Bell. Their skill positions for Norfolk State are extremely good.
1,592 yards a year ago for D'Angelo Branch. Came in today's game with 166 yards. And here's Brown looking in trouble. He's going to be sacked. He loses yards. At least he held on to the football.
Yeah, he was lucky that they didn't get that ball out, because the backside rush was coming from Bethune Cookman, and he didn't see it to the very last minute. Sometimes a guy as talented as a Dennis Brown, you start trying to do a little too much. You have to stay within the confines of the system. You get a good rollout play here. You look downfield, hey, no one's open. So you either tuck it and run or you throw it away. When you start trying to do all of that, that's when you get yourself in trouble.
Well, he lost big yards because it was a 1st and goal at the 4. And now the ball is spotted all the way back to the 15. It's still a goal to go. Second down, though, and they have to get a touchdown.
Yeah, see, if he just throws that ball out, throws it out of bounds, you got second and goal from the 4-yard line. You don't take that sack.
In trouble again, and he's down again and loses more yards. Now it's third and goal from the 26.
Well, we're going to just ditto the same thing we just said. When you're in the red zone, you don't want to take a sack because now you have a pretty good field goal kicker, and even to kick a field goal is going to be a challenge. Hey, no one's open down the field. Either get out of there or throw it out of bounds. There's nothing wrong with an incompletion because you give yourself another chance. When you're standing there and take the sack, you know, Ryan Davis, this guy is off to a great start. 7 tackles, 2 forced fumble, 2 tackles for loss on the year, and also a sack and a fumble recovery. These guys are pretty good, Bethune Cookman. They play defense. You stand in the pocket too long, eventually they will get to you.
Third and goal from the 26-yard line for Norfolk State. Thrown to the end zone. Out there. It's caught for a touchdown. Chris Bell, touchdown.
That was like the great Houdini. I don't know how he caught that football because when he threw it, I'm like, that's the interception. I'm thinking Dennis Brown.
The safety was coming over to intercept it.
I'm thinking Dennis Brown just made the mistake of taking 2 sacks, and now he's throwing into double coverage, and it's an interception. But some kind of way, number 19, Chris Bell, bails him out and tips it up to himself and make a circus catch in double coverage. Great job by Chris Bell with an individual effort to score the touchdown for Norfolk State. And that was 22, R.K. Smith on the coverage, and I think he's still banged up. He probably twisted his ankle coming down, but right now, like Chris Bell is like, hey, you can't stop me. Just throw it up.
This was a young man who started his college career at Penn State. Played some for the Nittany Lions, who have a big game tonight. 2 years there, caught 12 passes. He's got 8 passes in today's ball game.
And I'll tell you who his biggest fan is going to be is Dennis Brown. That ball should have been picked off. He's like, hey, big fella, if you keep making plays for me like that, I'm just going to throw it to you every play.
Well, he was not going to be denied that time. He's a big receiver, 6'2", comes in at about 210 pounds, a local kid from Norfolk, and got away from here, went to Penn State, but decided he would come back. Here's Castellat for the point after. 2:27 is the time remaining here in the third quarter. And here's Mr. Bell with his second touchdown reception of the afternoon. He had a 62-yarder earlier. This one good for 26.
Yeah, Dennis Brown made up his mind. I'm going to Chris Bell. Antoine Cox, who's been there in coverage the entire night. He's expecting help from his free safety. 22, R.K. Smith comes over the top, but he can't make the play. But give credit to Chris Bell, man. This guy's been unstoppable all day. His second touchdown reception, they're making big plays.
And don't forget to log on to Facebook today, search ESPNU, and become a fan. And you can become a fan of that man, Chris Bell. Post your best tailgating photos and comments, and we may use them on Inside the Polls Monday at 6 p.m. on ESPNU HD. Chris Bell.
You can see Dennis Brown there telling his offensive line, hey, that's my fault. You know, I took a couple sacks I shouldn't have. And you like that in your quarterback. He's your leader. You know, when he plays well, he's going to get the credit. If you make a mistake, hey, stand up like a man and say you made it, but then he comes back and make a throw like that to Chris Bell, makes a big play and gives him Norfolk State a big lead.
59-yard drive that time is here's a run back, the best of the day for Courtney Keith, who gets it back up to the 40-yard line and puts Bethune in pretty good field position before Dante Barnes was there to make the stop.
Now Bethune-Cookman is in a situation like they were in early in the first and second quarter when they were down by more than 2 scores. And so what you have to do is, hey, settle your team down once again. Let's regroup offensively. You know, we've done some things good. Maybe go back to that no-huddle offense that gave Norfolk State trouble. Just try to get 1 score and get back into the ball game.
First down and 10 now for Bethune at the 40-yard line. Good field position for them now. Francois throwing over the middle, intercepted. Stepping right in front, Terrell Whitehead. Whitehead, the preseason defensive player of the year in the MEAC. He's taking it back down the field, puts it back at the 5. He's in for a touchdown. No, they're going to mark it at the 1.
Oh, give it to him.
They're going to mark it at the 1.
Give it to him. Man, most exciting play in football, interception return for a touchdown. Not down to the 1.
59 yards on the interception for Whitehead. His second interception of the season.
And this guy's been preseason Mr. Everything. You know it's just a matter of time before he steps in to make a big play. The receiver falls down, but hey, look at the moves right here. I mean, these guys cannot tackle. They're offensive linemen. I'm going to return this thing, cut back, get great blocking. And I tell you, Charlie, this is the most exciting play in football. Interception return for a touchdown.
Andros Bell saved the touchdown, but it'll be 1st and goal. And that's the second turnover, second interception today that Bethune has thrown. The first one resulted in a Branch touchdown run. We'll see if Branch can get into the end zone for the 3rd time today. He's in. Touchdown, Norfolk State. 3rd touchdown of the day for D'Angelo Branch.
If you're the Spartans, you have to like that. I mean, that's just good football. You had a 23-0 lead. The team battles back, and they cut it down. They scored 2 touchdowns on you, and you come out in the second half. You exert your dominance once again. You have a big play offensively. Then your defense gets the interception and sets you up for another score. Now you have a commanding lead in the 3rd quarter. That's good football, offense, defense, and special teams.
And the point after is good. 40-14 the score right now, when it looked like Bethune was going to make a run and come back in this ball game just before halftime to cut the 23-0 deficit to 9 points at the break. Now it's a 16-point lead now. Make that a 26-point lead. Let me get my math together here for the Spartans of Norfolk State. Pete Adrian's team, with 2 minutes to go, they have scored 14 points. That is Norfolk State in the last 27 seconds.
And we talked about Norfolk State being a 1-2 team, but a pretty good 1-2 team. They had a very close loss to North Carolina A&T to open MEAC play. Then they lose to William & Mary, but they're the number 5 ranked team in FCS. So, you know, they've played some pretty good football teams. They've played well the entire year. They haven't played a bad ball game. They just lost 2 of them.
You know, you're watching ESPNU's College Football Prime Time. We're at Dick Price Stadium on the campus of Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm Charlie Neal, along with Alabama State alum and retired NFL linebacker Eddie Robinson Jr. Glad you could join us for this one, especially if you're a Norfolk State Spartan fan. The Bethune Cookman family can't be feeling too good right now. From the 5-yard line, Courtney Keefe down at the 21.
Courtney Keefe on the return.
So the 3rd, make it the 4th possession of the second half for this Bethune Cookman Wildcats. Here you look at D'Angelo Branch. He's enjoying the festivities. 3 touchdowns rushing for him today. 95 yards on 18 carries.
You have another quarterback change by Bethune Cookman.
Is that Ben De La Cruz?
Oh, right, number 12.
Oh, that's
Michael
number 12 this time. Michael Adams in there. We saw Michael Adams in the pregame warm-up. He was throwing the ball pretty good, wasn't he?
Yeah, pretty good. I said, who is that guy? We had to look at the stat sheet and pull up his number. But, you know, one thing about Coach White, he knows that he has to have a couple of quarterbacks ready because of the style of offense they play. In this wide-bone attack, the quarterbacks are doing quite a bit of running, so they're going to get banged up. But now I see
he's only in there 7, 1 play.
Yeah, Maurice Francois. So he must have just been banged up for a play. And I think Maurice Francois gives you the best chance of winning the football game. I like what he's been able to do, especially in the running department. But also, you know, he's 6 from 6 passing, except for that 1 interception. So he's been doing a pretty good job passing the football also.
Option to the left for Francois, being chased over the far side and cannot get away from Amayuga, the linebacker. Oyemichi Anayoga out of Sterling, Virginia, number 28 there. The young man who moved over from strong safety to the linebacker position this year and added some weight to his frame, allowing him to make that transition. 3rd down now for the Wildcats.
You know, one thing you notice with Coach Adrian and his roster, you have a lot of guys who are moving from one position to another, but you like that because as a coach, you want to get your best 22 players on the field. So if we're not good at defense, we'll move you back to offense and let you play.
Here again is Adams in the lineup. Intercepted again. And this time on the INT is Short. Jamie Short reversing his field. Coming back inside, and the flag is going down. But finally stopped that time on the tackle by Reams, Javon Reams. So the third interception by the Wildcats today. The penalty will come after the interception. This comes with 1:35 to go in the third quarter.
Disregard the flag. There was not a block in the back. 1st and 10, Norfolk State.
So again, Bethune Cookman finds himself going on defense. Down by 26 points, 40-14. And Norfolk with the ball once again in great field position at the 37-yard line, at the Bethune 37. Here's D'Angelo Branch, 3 touchdowns already rushing today, and down to the 30-yard line. Sandilands there defensively on the stop. One of the things we did see as the third quarter has just come to an end, we'll talk about that when we come back. 3 quarters in the bag here at Dick Price Stadium, and it's been all Spartans. They're up by 26.
The 2010 MEAC basketball tournament is turning up the heat in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, March 8th through the 13th at Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Come out and see great Division I basketball action coupled with exciting
As we start the fourth quarter here in Norfolk, Virginia, the Spartans with the ball once again facing a 2nd down and 2 in great field position inside the 30 of Bethune. Dennis Brown with the option, put it in the belly of the running back D'Angelo Brown and pulled it out and then ran for the 1st down. On the other side, Gene Fenor ran him out. Dennis Brown doing it with his legs. And, you know, you're talking about some great stats today. D'Angelo Branch with 18 carries, 95 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then you look at Mr. Bell, 9 receptions, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, you can't say enough about what Dennis Brown has done.
Yeah, those 3 guys, I mean, those 3 amigos, when you have that rare combination of a good quarterback, good receiver, and a good running back, you can do a lot of things offensively. It just makes the whole offensive team better.
We've seen some good quarterbacks in this conference this year, some good running backs. Will Ford down at South Carolina State, and of course the kid down at Florida A&M, Sylvester, Philip Sylvester, as Branch runs the ball to the right side. A late flag comes in. This came in from the center fielder.
Yeah, I think he threw that one from Hampton across the bay and it landed right around the line of scrimmage. Been a pretty good game penalty-wise. I mean, both teams haven't had, you know, major penalties. You know, you're always going to have some things that happen.
We have a block in the back on number 7 on the defense.
How can you have a block in the back on a running play?
Correction.
He's about to tell you.
We have a block in the back on the offense, number 7. 10 yards from the end of the run. 1st down.
That's PJ.
Charlie, I tell you what, every time you ask a question, it seems like the referee hears you. I mean, do you have like a microphone straight to him or something? What's going on here? Let me in the circle here. Oh, yeah, that's a good call. That's pretty easy. I mean, that's one that you have to call. You know, and we talk with Pete Adrian, and very seldom do I hear a coach admit to my team has made a mistake. But he said against William and Mary and also against A&T, yeah, we had a couple penalties that cost us some big plays. But, hey, we did it. You know, we committed those plays. Yeah. I was like, wow. You know?
Yeah, he even said, it wasn't anything the referees messed up.
Yeah,
he said,
our mistake.
Yeah, it's our mistake. Second down. And this is an incomplete pass. It hits the ground in front of Jeremy Wicker. He's been quiet tonight. This junior out of Quantico, Virginia, had 3 catches coming in. He's just back for the first game. He suffered a concussion against the Aggies of A&T and did not play against William and Mary a week ago. And so he's back in the lineup.
You always want to err on the side of caution, especially when you're dealing with concussions and young players, young student athletes like that. So, you know, you want to give them their rest. Let them come back at their leisure when they think they're ready to go.
Second down now, 2nd and 15. And the pass is incomplete. Reggie Sandelin's there defending Chris Bell. Sunday afternoon, ESPNU kicks off women's college soccer action. That's when the Tigers of Auburn take on the Ole Miss Rebels. It's women's college soccer on ESPNU Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. More information, log on to ESPNU.com. You know, this offense for Norfolk State started slow against William and Mary, had just 1 pass play over 20 yards the first 2 games, but they had several over 20 yards against William and Mary, and they reversed that trend today. Here again, the quarterback being sacked and being brought down by big number 98, Kentrell Harris.
Kentrell Harris is trying to hold on. This is a good job of reading the quarterback fake. Right? Yeah, just a little ring around the rosy and swing you around again and take you down. A little Texas 2-step there.
Mr. Houston, I know you would know all about that.
Oh, yeah, I have a pair of ostrich skin boots down there in Texas now.
Only the 2nd punt of the day. First in the second half for Norfolk State. And is fielded right at the 10-yard line and immediately brought down. Anthony Taylor was there to make sure that the return man, Michael Williams, did not get far. Just a 28-yard punt, but an effective coverage by the Spartan special teams. First down and 10 for the Wildcats when we come back from their own 10.
This is me.
Entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-7.
Friday night, October 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern, ESPNU HD is the place to be when the Titans of high school football collide. Join us as the 2nd-ranked Burns High of South Carolina rolls into Fort Lauderdale to take on top-ranked St. Thomas Aquinas High. It's a battle for high school football supremacy. And for more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Future stars of tomorrow today. We'll see that big game next Friday night. Right now, 40-14, our score here. One of only 2 conference games being played within the conference in terms of the standings mattering today, and that is this game featuring 2 conference opponents. The other is taking place over in Hampton, right across down the road in the tunnel there, as that ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. And the Delaware State Hornets are in Hampton to play the Pirates of Hampton University, the only other conference matchup today. Florida A&M is playing Tennessee State in Atlanta. Townsend and Morgan are playing in Baltimore. Winston-Salem's at South Carolina State. A&T is at Coastal Carolina. And Howard already beat Georgetown earlier, 14-11. And those were non-conference matchups. So very important for Norfolk State. They get an opportunity to go 1-1 in conference play if they can hold on here. 13 minutes to go. Francois' pass is dropped right at about the 21-yard line. Would have been enough for the first down. And they have their own number 19, Allie Green, But not the same results as the number 19 being worn by the green and gold.
Nah, that's not the Chris Bell guy. But you know, you look at Bethune-Cookman. Of course, they're down on a lopsided score, but you know, overall, you still want to try to get something going in this second half, in this fourth quarter.
Francois throws out of the backfield, trying to get it to one of his big backs. He does, but it may not be enough for the first down as Corey Hammond comes up to make the stop defensively on the reception, and Antonio Smith. And it'll bring up a fourth down.
They still have the offense on the field, but I can't imagine going for it in fourth down in this situation, backed up on your own 10 to 15, 15-yard line.
Is there a penalty marker down? Let me see. I see the side judge in talking to the referee. They still 5 yards shy of a first down.
Illegal participation against the defense. 12 players in the last down, 15 yards
first down
from the previous spot. And because of the yardage gained from the penalty. First.
I don't know.
And that's the penalty as a coach that you really just don't like. If you coach Pete Adrian, if your score is 40-14, but still you can't have that. I mean, that goes back to the first week of the football season. We need 11 men on the field. You can't have 12 guys on the field and give up an unnecessary first down because you stopped them on the third down situation.
Well, illegal participation on the defense. 12 players participated in the last down. 15-yard penalty. And because of the yardage gained from the penalty, first down.
So they gain the first down. The yard markers move. And a new fresh set of downs for the Wildcats of Bethune. 13:01 the time remaining in the contest. 26-point ball game right now. The lead is 40-14. Francois looking. And this one is caught very close to another first down at about the 435-yard line. Josh Anderson gets his hands in there, but not in time, as the chain markers will move once again.
Yeah, Bethune-Cookman coming with the hurry-up offense, trying to speed up the tempo just a little. And Maurice Francois, this guy is very accurate from 20 yards and in, and he had a couple of good deep ball throws also. I mean, I think they found a guy who can run it well, of course, but also he's doing some good things in the passing game tonight.
Rolling left this time, stepping up, in a little bit of trouble. Now he goes out of there, decides he's going to use his legs, and a good tackle on the far side by Mark Alphonse for Norfolk State. Number 5, he came up strong to make that stop on the quarterback.
Yeah, Mike Alphonse is one of those guys that's come from Miami Norland High School, and a couple of recruits from Norfolk State from that Miami and that Florida area, and this guy shows why he has the speed, because I thought that was going to be a big play. Maurice Francois seemed like he was going to turn the corner and get 10 or 20 yards, but this guy has some closing speed to get there.
Senior out of Miramar. He went to the University of Akron. Third leading tackler coming into today's game for the Spartans. So it's second down and about 2. This one is Adams. He runs out of bounds, and he's going to lose yardage. Back to the 40-yard line. Corin Hammond ran him out of bounds.
Of course, we haven't seen much of Adams today.
No.
Came in just a couple times here or there to spell Francois.
He lost about 6 on that play, so it'll bring up third and about 7.
Now look like we have number 13, Matthew Johnson, so the third different quarterback on 3 different plays. How often have you seen that, Charlie? I know you've been doing this for 35 years or so. Covered my games when I was in college.
Intercepted again. This time, again with the interception, is Jamie Short. And another interception, the 4th time. Remember, they turned the ball over 7 times in their season opener against Shaw University. Bethune, they've turned the ball over 4 times this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, with those last 2 interceptions, and give Jamie Short credit, number 8, and this guy's out of Ocean Lake High School right there in Virginia Beach, but those are too easy. I mean, you're throwing it right to the guy, and you just can't have that. These athletes for Norfolk State are too good for you just to throw the ball in the air and hang it up high like that and expect your guy to make a play. Good athletic play by Jamie Sharp, but Bethune Cookman cannot turn over the ball like this if they want to win football games.
So now Norfolk State with the ball at their own 48-yard line. They don't have to do anything but just run the clock out, really. And they give the ball to a new running back we see in the lineup for the Spartans of Norfolk State. Number 11 is Kevin Leatherwood carrying the ball that time. Let's look at the turnover package. 4 times is not a charm.
And you can see here's a big interception by the All-American Terrell Whitehead. He almost gets it back into the end zone, but they're not done there. Your number 8, Jamie Sharp, he said, hey, I want to get an interception too. And they have a tough time trying to get him down, and the interceptions just keep coming. Here's number 8, Jamie Sharp, going for his 2nd interception of the day, and just too many turnovers. I mean, you're an option team. You have to control the ball, not have the turnovers, win the time of possession. You just can't win with that many turnovers if you're Bethune-Cookman.
And again, they keep the ball on the ground with Leatherwood on the carry. Kentrell Harris on the stop defensively. One of the things we know that Pete Adrian was doing defensively, he told us yesterday he was going to play 22 different people. He said the only person that may not come out is Terrell Whitehead. He said, but everybody else is interchangeable. He'll play 4 linebackers. He'll play 4 deep in the corners. On the corner, when I say 4 linebackers, 4 in the corners. So.
Yeah, and that's interesting because not too many defenses can get away with that just from a preparation standpoint. I mean, you have to have that many more guys keyed into your game plan and not make a mistake.
This is Cotton going to the left side, number 41, new running back in there. This time, that's Donovan Cotton. Mike Williams there defensively, and Mike Cotton. You know, these kids want to play also. You know, if it's a tight ball game, you don't see Cotton and you won't see Leatherwood or some of these other people in there playing at key positions. But there's Mr. Cotton right there, number 41.
You know, and Cotton was actually a walk-on. I'm glad he got into the ball game because he has an interesting story. He enrolled at Norfolk State in 2006 and didn't play the first 2 years. He went out to play football in the spring and now has worked himself up to that 2nd running back spot behind D'Angelo Branch.
Redshirt junior. Cotton cuts it back inside. Not a bad backup for Mr. Branch. He's out of Tampa, Florida. Like you said, he was a walk-on in the spring of last year. In fact, at high school, he was on a 3A title team back in 2005.
They had a couple of teammates, Sharon Childress, and also his brother, the linebacker, Sean Childress. So, I mean, they do a really good job of recruiting this local Virginia area. I mean, why go outside the state when you have so many good players in the circumference close to your school?
2nd down and about 8. And again, trying to go to the right side, breaks through inside the 10, down to about the 8-yard line goes Donovan Cotton. Cotton stopped by Ozzie Slater. 8 minutes, 10 seconds remaining.
And this is always a tough position if you're a coach like Pete Adrian. Of course, you're just trying to run out the clock, but these guys are getting into the game and you want them to compete. And so you expect them to go out there and make big plays, and that's what 41 Cotton is doing. He's running hard, trying to get it into the end zone. You can't ask your guys just to lay down and not compete and make plays.
Alvin White, just 4 losing seasons in his previous 13 years. Last year finished in a 4-way tie for 2nd. They won the MEAC in 02, made the playoffs again in 03. Had a slide that started in 04 when the team went 4-3. 05 they went 4-4, and again they keep the ball on the ground. But then 06 they brought the wide bone back, recruited some players that, you know, one of the things you have to have special players to run that wide bone, and he went out and recruited the type of players who could play in that wide bone, you know.
And he does a good job of recruiting that Florida area also. He's another coach who can recruit from within the state. But, you know, he's in his, like you said, 12 seasons there, a record of 85-47, the all-time winningest coach at Bethune-Cookman. I mean, he's one of the few, I think the only coach to ever beat Florida A&M 3 times in a row in that big Florida Classic. So this program is in good hands. A little, you know, law right here, but they'll be okay.
Dennis Brown turning the corner and run out of bounds.
and still a lot more football to play. And of course, they're not off to their greatest start. 0-2 in the MEAC conference, but there's still some teams that they're going to beat on their schedule. And that option, that wide bone option attack is hard to defend. You have to really come up and make plays and execute. And give Norfolk State credit. They've played great disciplined football today, and they have some good athletes. But over and all, week in and week out, that option can really expose some things you have on defense.
Yeah, they've had some pretty good seasons there down there at Bethune, and 3 MEAC titles, 84, 86, or 88, Larry Little. And in 02 with Alvin White, and you see Pete Adrian. Norfolk State, the only football school right now in the MEAC that has not won a MEAC title. And another touchdown. Yeah. Touchback, intercepted. That was intercepted by Antoine Cox. Finally, Antoine won a battle over there. So the first turnover of the ball game for the Spartans of Norfolk State.
Well, I tell you, it's not going to have a lot to do with the final outcome of this ball game, but I think you got to give Antoine Cox credit for just to fight here. I mean, this guy's been going up against your number 19, Chris Bell, the entire day, but he just does a good job of wrestling the ball away. A clean swipe, hands it back to the referee. Hey, a big play for Bethune-Cookman.
So they'll get the ball on the touchback at their own 20-yard line, trailing 40-14 with 6:50 to go.
Charlie, it's always tough when you're on the downside of a 40-14 ball game. As a player, I've been there before, and it's not a good feeling, especially defensively, because teams are going to keep trying to put your points on the board unless you stop them.
That's a good run and catch after the pass by the quarterback, Francois. There defensively, Marcus Cooperwood, and Reeves on the reception. He's done a pretty good job today catching high passes from his quarterback, hasn't he?
Yeah, some tough ones, some hot ones coming out there. Like you said, he brought them in. His job as receiver is just catch every pass. You don't complain about how it comes to you.
That was really high, and he almost put that one. just missed bringing that one in. Yeah, we talked about Alvin White. He played his collegiate ball at Bethune-Cookman, and he still holds a school record for interceptions in a game, which was 6, and career 34. He's second in interceptions in a season. He had 13 in one season. Of course, Rasheem Mathis, who's playing with the the Jacksonville Jaguars, had 14 in 2002. So that's one record Rasheem Mathis broke. I'm sure he wasn't mad about that. Here's Francois rolling right, throws. That's almost intercepted. That one's almost picked off there by number 43, Marcus Cooperwood.
And with Coach White, of course, he went on to play with the Oakland Raiders, had a good NFL career, but it's always good. I love to see when coaches come back to coach their alma mater, because you're going through what the kids are going through. You're recruiting and you're going talking to parents, and you're telling them, hey, come to a school that I went to. It was good enough for me. It worked for me. I played in the NFL. I'm a successful coach. Your kid can come to this school and be successful also. So it's easy to sell the program when you were a part of it.
This Norfolk State school was 8-3 in 07. Their prior winning season before 2007 was 1996. So they're trying to repeat that today. They've lead it big. ESPNU College Football Prime Time is presented by Citi. Citi never sleeps. And welcome back to ESPNU College Football Prime Time, presented by Citi as part of Kingsford Charcoal Tailgate Week. It's the Norfolk State Spartans taking on the MEAC rival Wildcats at Bethune-Cookman University. And Sunday afternoon, ESPNU kicks off women's college soccer action. That's when the Auburn Tigers take on the Ole Miss Rebels. It's women's college soccer on ESPNU Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Along with Eddie Robinson, I'm Charlie Neal, 6:04. The time remaining in this one. It's been all Norfolk State. They led it by 23-0 in the first half, 23-14 at the half. Brian Jackson in at quarterback now for the Spartans of Norfolk State. New quarterback in there. Dexter Jackson on the stop defensively.
Yeah, Dexter Jackson, kid out of Ed White High School in Jacksonville, Florida, preseason all MEAC. Second on the team in 1.5 sacks. Guy that's still in there battling hard for the Bethune Cookman Wildcats. Always tough when you're on the bottom end of this type of loss. Presuming that they don't come back, of course.
Okay. Brian Jackson in the lineup right now for the Spartans. He's the second quarterback they've used today. So we have some new faces in the lineup. This game pretty much in hand. A 26-point lead with 5:23 to go for the Spartans of Norfolk State. This is a team with 5 Division I transfers. Here's a fumble. And the ball is going to go over to Bethune, so never say never, right?
Never say never. I tell you what, Coach Adrian, I'm sure he's not happy with that. You're just trying to run the clock out. You give your backup guys some time to get up there and compete. They don't fumble the football. Hold it with 2 hands, realize the situation in the ball game, and execute the game plan just like you were a starter.
Yeah, let's see if Bethune can do anything with it. You know, talking about Bethune being from the state of Florida, Florida State is one of the 2 schools that's ever had 5 players, alumni, play in a single Super Bowl game. Who's the other? It's only been 2 schools.
2 schools
in the history of all the Super Bowls that have had 5 players from their school, an alum, play in a single Super Bowl game.
That's USC, easily.
Wrong. The other school was a MEAC school.
Oh, really? Well, you didn't give me that hint before, I guess. John.
Well, you said USC. You just assumed it wasn't a MEAC school.
Well, if it's a MEAC school, let me see. I would have to go. I'm not going to go with Howard just because Jay Walker went there, of course. So my next best guess would probably be Florida A&M.
Wrong again.
All right, you got
old man with no hair.
Well, see, you didn't give me enough time to get on my my Google or my I have my BlackBerry right here, so I get on the internet. I can figure this thing out.
But it's gonna take you too long.
I know. Just like the viewers at home, they can send me a Facebook message through ESPN or something to help me out here. All
right, I'm gonna give them a chance to send you the answer to that. Anybody who knows who it might be, it's a MEAC school. They had 5 players appear in a Super Bowl game. Former players. Here's the quarterback, Francois, running for the first down at about the 31-yard line. And as I said, the one school was Florida State.
I've already guessed FAMU.
Florida State was Super Bowl 40. It was Seattle and Pittsburgh in 2006, and they had 3 players from alumni that played for Seattle, 2 for Pittsburgh in that game. I'll tell you who this was picked down the sideline.
See if the big guy can make the tackle. He's trying to chase him down.
Devon Smart on the interception.
That's a great job by number 70, Natil Curry, keeping him out of the end zone. And he looked like he got shaken up a little bit on the play, but another interception by Norfolk State by number 6, Devon Smart. He's looking to score. I mean, that's just instinctive. I mean, even though you're winning 40-14, you're not trying to show up your opponent. But ever since you were a kid, if you catch an interception, you try to go the other way and put it in the end zone.
It was 5. That's the 5th interception of today's ball game. 2 in the 4th quarter, 2 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 2nd. That's been the type of day it's been for the Wildcats. We'll be back. 4:40 remaining. Everybody in the truck, everybody up here is trying to figure this out. Everybody's got their Blackberries and everything else. Here's some upcoming schedules for Norfolk State. They're off next week. Then they play South Carolina State on October 10th, Hampton at the 17th. Then they travel to FAMU at home against Howard, close out the season against Morgan at Delaware State. But that question we'll deal with. I'll tell you what Super Bowl it was and see if you can figure it out. Here's a high snap and trying to go off the right side, Norfolk State. It was Super Bowl 3, 1968. Jets and the Colts. Now, have you figured out what school?
Charlie, in 1968, I don't think I was here yet.
It doesn't matter. You're supposed to be an aficionado. All right, I gave the truck one player. His name is James Duncan. He played for the Colts. Charlie Stukes played for the Colts. Now, if I give you the other three names, you'll know exactly what school I'm talking about. They played for the Jets.
I'm still drawing a blank.
Are you still drawing a blank? Here's a pass in and out of the hands of the intended receiver for the Spartans of Norfolk State. You've got to hold on to that one, Billy Rudd. Or was that Josh Alford? Josh Alford, 39.
Yeah, good throw by backup quarterback Brian Jackson on the rollout. He gives his best Dennis Brown impersonation, but you just can't hold on to the football. Josh Alford, that's one that you got to have. Show coach that you're ready to play and step up and get into the ball game when it really matters.
All right, the other three names: Earl Christie, Emerson Boozer, Johnny Sample.
Maryland Eastern Shore.
University of Maryland Eastern Shore. They don't even play football anymore.
Exactly. That's a tricky one.
I knew I'd get you.
Yeah, you got me with the banana in the tailpipe, Charlie. The banana in the tailpipe.
The layup game on the offense, number 12, 5-yard penalty.
And they were even before the Hall of Famer Art Shell, who went to Maryland Eastern Shore. So, I mean, that's way out of my range there. I mean, I'm a historian of the game, but come on, Charlie.
But the three players from Florida State that played with Seattle in Super Bowl 40 were Walter Jones, Peter Warrick, and Peter Boulware, and then Chris Hope and Brian McFadden played with the Steelers in that game. Adams throw wide to the right side, left side, and it's caught over there. And not much running room there for the receiver Nigel McCowan, but Reggie Sandlin was there defensively. But I know you're such an official person when it comes to trivia. That's why I always try to come up with something good. You and Jay.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, look at these guys are still competing out there. I mean, number 4, he's had a long day, of course. Antoine Cox still out there trying to make plays. Nigel McCowan.
Well, this Norfolk State school did not even join the MEAC until 1997, and their best finish in conference play was 2 years ago when they finished 6-2 in the MEAC. Lost a very disappointing game here. A very disappointing game here to Howard University.
That's Dexter Jackson, man. That's just a frustration play. You know, things aren't going our way, so we're going to take it out on the guy in front of us before we have to get on this bus ride back to Daytona.
Yeah, Sanderlands.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Under 3 minutes to go. But that year, when that was 2 years ago, we did a game here, which Howard University upset them. That was their first loss of the year, and then they lost their last game of the season in overtime to Delaware State. So that was the 2 losses. Looked like the Spartans were well on their way to possibly a share of the MEAC championship that year.
When you look at the job that Coach Adrian has done, you would have to think that it's just a matter of time before they get a MEAC title under their belt. Of course, they're late to the conference, and they had to totally get this program going in the right direction. But hey, good job of recruiting. They're winning a lot of ball games. They're playing well. They're competitive year in and year out.
And they've had some pretty good coaches over the years. There was a time when it looked like the door was opening and closing pretty frequently here in Norfolk. Willie Gillis was here. Mo Forte was here for 4 years. Gillis was here for 2. Darnell Moore for 5. And the gunslinger, a lot of people don't remember, Archie Cooley was a coach here in Norfolk for a year. The man who was responsible for the Satellite Express down in Mississippi Valley with Willie Totten and Jerry Rice.
I think Coach Comagee from Jackson State was trying to leave Tuskegee. He was the coach for about a week.
He never
went back home.
Never coached a game, but he was here. Yeah. 1st and 10, Bethune. Now flag. All these flags are coming down when the
game on the offense, number 10, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
When it really doesn't matter, huh? Well, you know, one of the things that also we've seen a lot of these schools doing, Eddie, is playing these money games. Bethune has resisted doing it. Alvin White has said he didn't want to get his kids banged up, but we're seeing that it's a thing of the future, especially the way the economy is. Delaware State's playing Michigan this year. South Carolina State's playing South Carolina this year. Florida A&M's going to play the University of Miami, or the U, this year. And of course, Howard has already played Rutgers this year. Just talking about schools in the MEAC.
Yeah, and then you look at the SWAC, Grambling State, of course, they're playing Oklahoma State today. So, man, it's kind of one of those things. You need that money to get your program moving and so you can compete at this level. But at the same time, you don't want to get your kids banged up. You know, it's one of those chances you want to go out there and try to compete, but you don't want to go out there and injure someone and hamper your chances to compete within the conference race.
This throw is complete on the near sideline, and out of bounds is Allie Green.
The pass is complete to number 19, Allie Green.
Sunday afternoon, ESPNU serves Sets and Spikes coverage of women's college volleyball. It's the Ole Miss Rebels taking on the Lady Vols of Tennessee in women's college volleyball on ESPNU Sunday at 5 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. 2:28 the time remaining. In this one, the clock running. This pass is complete, far sideline. And down the sideline after the completion is Javon Reams on the catch from Michael Adams. I think that's Michael Adams, or is that Ben De La Cruz?
Ben
De La Cruz. Yeah, Ben De La Cruz. So they've used 4 quarterbacks in this ball game so far tonight, and each one of them, I think, has thrown an interception.
I tell you what, we talked to Coach White. He said, hey, I have 6 quarterbacks, and one of them going to play. So hey, he's a man of his word. He put in a couple guys, and you know they're still trying to sort through this quarterback situation, trying to see who can give them the best chance to compete and win the ball game.
Well, you know what is ironic is there's so many. Most of the guys we've seen in the past, when we talked about Alan Suber and those guys, they were all like small Smurf type quarterbacks. They're growing a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, he's growing a little bigger down there. But the thing about it is you need such a unique guy to run his offense. First of all, you have to be tough. And you have to have great running ability, and you have to be a smart guy to get them in the right play and make the right decision with the football. You're going to give it to the B back, keep it yourself, toss it to the A back, but then you also have to throw just good enough to complete some passes down the field. If you can complete those 30 yards in routes, then you're okay.
Here's De La Cruz throwing it away out of the pocket. That's going to be incomplete. At least he didn't take the sack. Corin Hammond putting the pressure on him right there.
But really, I like number 7. I like Maurice Francois, what he's able to bring into this game as a runner. He's cool under the center, and he can't throw a perfect deep ball, but at the same time, he's very accurate from that 20 yards in end range, and that's really all you need in this offense.
They called intentional grounding on that.
The ball did not
pass the line of scrimmage.
The ball blew pace at the spot of the foul. Loss of down.
Did not cross the line of scrimmage, so therefore it's intentional grounding. Alvin White, not a happy camper. When was the last time they went 0-3? They hadn't gone 0-2 since 1993, so that was the same year that they went 0-2, I believe it was.
And you have Morgan State coming to Bethune-Cookman down in Daytona next week, so they'll get another chance to get a MEAC victory.
In fact, that year, 1993, they finished the year 1-10 as De La Cruz is hit again with an intentional grounding. As he was going down, I know that's what that flag is about.
Yeah. Well, this is a little gamesmanship.
We have intentional grounding against the offense, number 10. The ball did not cross the line of scrimmage. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Loss of down.
And I'll tell you what this is, Charlie. I mean, Pete Adrian in the Norfolk State defense, I mean, they're like, hey, scores 40-14 is under 2 minutes. If you want to keep passing, we're going to start blitzing. Why don't you just run out the clock so we can all go home and get out of here? You live to fight another day. So I think that's just a matter of the defense saying, hey, we're going to start bringing some pressure, and then you get 2 intentional grounding plays.
Of course, we haven't seen a lot of positive out of what Bethune did today, but in any situation, you can find something good. Going forward, what do you see?
Well, what I see is they were down 23-0, and these kids really fought back. And I like the way that Maurice Francois stood in there and completed some passes, and they were able to do some things with the option game. And also from defensively, number 4, Antoine Cox played a great ball game with the interception. And he gave up some big plays to Chris Bell, but he pretty much had no help the entire game, and he stepped up and made some big plays.
And again, they're going to start 0-3 for the first time since 1993. Again, a year in which they went 1-10 that season, 0-6 in the MEAC. Sylvester Collins was the coach that year. He left before the season ended, and Tyrone McGriff finished the season as the coach of the Wildcats of Bethune. And, of course, the 85th year of a proud program down in Daytona Beach. Bethune Cookman, Alvin White, his alma mater, and the winningest coach there, and I'm sure this doesn't sit well with him.
No, it doesn't, but this isn't a 1-10 football team. I fully expect Bethune Cookman to get this thing turned around and still be competitive within the conference, and they have some, looking at their schedule, there's some teams on there that they can compete with and also beat. They'll just get this thing, ironed out and smooth it out and make a couple big plays down the stretch, and you just have to win that first ball game. Once you win that first one, things just start moving back in the direction you want them to go.
And I think one of the most disappointing things when they lost their opener, which was the Shaw University, a Division II school. Not that Shaw's a bad program. They're probably the top team in Division II among HBCUs right now, unbeaten. But still, the fact remains that they turned the ball over 7 times in that ball game. And you cannot win giving the ball away that many times in a contest. I don't care who you're playing.
I mean, that's the cliche. You can't win with turnovers, but it's true. From a football perspective, you have 7 turnovers, you're not going to have a lot of success. But you look at Norfolk State, these guys have to feel good about themselves. They've played three good ball games, and they started off 1-2. But now you get this victory here, and you get back to 2-2, 1-1 in the MEAC race. And you have some big games coming up, of course. You have South Carolina State, Hampton, and Florida A&M, all 3 in a row. And I don't know who put that on your schedule like that, but you need to try to put a bye week in between those 3 games or something. But, the next 3 games will definitely tell the story of this Norfolk State football season.
Well, you even talked about the loss to William and Mary. They lost to William and Mary last week. A team that's ranked number 5 among the FCS schools, a team that beat FBS school, the University of Virginia.
Correct.
And, they feel – you wonder how kids are going to react after a game like that, even though they lost. But they played well. They hung in there. They were not beaten up.
Yeah, and I think you kind of see the reaction. They came back, had a good week of work, and they played a great game today. Offense, defense, special teams. You have all 3 phases working together. Now you get a bye week. Then you have South Carolina State coming to you at home, Hampton coming to you at home, the Battle of the Bay. Then you travel to FAMU. If you can win 2 out of those 3 games, or hopefully all 3, you really set yourself up to do some things big in the conference towards going down the stretch.
And, of course, there's some good conference teams out there. When you talk about South Carolina State, you talk about what Florida A&M is doing, and you can never count out Delaware State, even though they already suffered a forfeit. And then, hey, look at what the Aggies are doing. North Carolina A&T, they're no slouch this year.
Yeah, no easy wins in the MEAC. A lot of parity amongst the conference teams.
Yeah. A couple new coaches in the MEAC this year. Of course, Lonzo Lee down at North Carolina A&T, and of course, Donovan Rose over at Hampton University. So, again, the MEAC is thriving, strong and big. And let's look at Bethune's schedule down the stretch. Morgan State at home October 3rd. Then they travel up to Dover and take on the Hornets of Delaware State, and then to Savannah State. And then they close out the season against Winston-Salem at home. They travel to North Carolina A&T. They'll play Hampton at home. And then, of course, the big game at the end of the year, the Florida Classic in Orlando against the Rattlers of Florida A&M. 40-14, the final score here. Your final thoughts?
Well, I think Norfolk State, they did a good job of playing a complete game. You have your bye week, and then you have the 3 big guys in the MEAC. You have to play those 3 in a row. And if you look at Bethune Cookman, they just have to get back to the drawing board. Go back there and play hard and compete next week. Just win that first ball game and turn this season around.
Pete Adrian, his 23rd win as the head coach of the Spartans of Norfolk State. They come out victorious, and they increase their record to 2-2 overall, 1-1 as far as the MEAC is concerned. 40-14, the final score here, as Norfolk State comes out victorious over the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman University. For Eddie Robinson and our entire ESPNU crew, Charlie Neal saying so long from Norfolk, Virginia, reminding you coming up next, Sports Center U. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. We are college sports. Goodbye from Norfolk.
Back again.